And welcome, everybody. Yes, welcome. Don't adjust your sets. Do not adjust your sets.
Or your laptops.
Or your laptops. Or your laptops. Or
phones.
Just don't make any. Look, would you stop it? Don't make any adjustments. Don't make any adjustments. Would you stop it? All right, you stop it. You naughty man.
I know, I'm just kidding.
Anyway, welcome to the first inaugural. The new show, Who Dis, is what we'll say. New show, Who Dis. So welcome to the first inaugural, the first ever. Oh, my. Welcome to the Turnbuckle. And before we get started, we got to introduce. You'll notice I'm in a new location. That's right. Real estate has moved over here in today's market. I'm sitting next to the main man. I'm talking about the Matt Daddy. I'm talking about Mr. Bane. I'm talking about Mr. Laptop. I'm talking about Mr. Bruiser Nation. I'm talking about the leader, the main man, the adult in the low gain of the room, the host of the only podcast that brings pro wrestling to your ears. Father of the Year, adult in the room, Mr. Wednesday Night Dynamite, Jason Matt Daddy McCarthy. How are you?
Hey, man, I'm good. That's me, guys. That's me, Loganites. And yes,
That's
definitely listen to the Bruce Cruise podcast. As Logan said, it's the only podcast to bring you pro wrestling for your ears. But that's not what we're here for today. We're here for the first show of To the Turnbuckle.
To the Turnbuckle. We're going to get buckled. And speaking of the man that's buckling us, speaking of the flat-out Bronco Buster, I'm talking about Mr. Hot Wheels himself. I'm talking about the leader of the Flagstaff. I'm talking about the man with the hottest wheels, not only in motorsports, to hell with that. Talking about school on air. Hell, I'm talking about the world. He is the man that makes Lauren smile like no other. He's the garter of the yard. He is Mr. Well, he loves an icon himself. He loves Sting. He went out and got that brand new big-time hat. He sure did. I'm talking about graphic extraordinaire, producer extraordinaire, the man who's dapper with his derriere, Travis Gnarly Napper.
I don't know about that last one.
That's all right.
But hey, what's going on, everybody? This is weird. I'm in a new spot, but I like it, even though I'm short right now. This is freaking me out. But it's all right, because I can still kind of see you guys, except for Jason, because even though he's tall, I can't see him over the big screen.
Hi, Bucky.
Hi, Logan.
That's ridiculous.
Hi, buddy.
Oh, this is going to be so much fun.
gonna be-
Yes, I love it. I love the new look. I'm very proud of myself for that one.
Lindy Hartley says, hey.
What's up, Lindy?
Mr. Brian Dolo says, what's up, fellas? What's up, Brian Dolo?
And Big 10 Sports Show listeners.
And Big Cody Larson says, loving the look, fellas. Well, we love you, Cody. We love you and your look. And I'll give you a seductive one right here live on air. How you doing? What's up?
I'm scared.
All right, first of all, let me love Cody Larson, all right? Let me love him. You can't. It's 2021. I'll love whoever I want. Thank
The
you.
only sad thing is you're not, like, close up anymore, or, like, not as close up, so
Yeah,
you
so-
can't longingly look into his
look,
eyes that
look
much.
here. Let me give him my best shot.
So sad.
if I can zoom in.
Cody. You can't stop our love, brother. Big league show, we're right again. All right, you recorded all this, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, got it all set up for the folks. We're going to put it on Spotify and all that sort of good thing. Woohoo! So, anyway, it is time. Did you put this on the Twitter?
Not yet, but I will.
Somebody put it on the
I'm
Twitter.
going to put it on the Twitter in a second as I take Instagram photos for the Bruiser Nation Productions. Speaking of Bruiser Nation Productions, I didn't tell you, sir.
You didn't.
Bruiser Nation Productions now has a Patreon page. You can get merch.
Also-
Official merch.
Merch.
Including Bruiser Nation Productions merch and To the Turnbuckle merch. Soon to be Red Flag Podcast merch. Haha, I remembered.
Merch.
By the way, you forgot somebody.
Oh, yeah, Ryan's here.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Ryan. Well, Ryan, you got to speak up. Look.
I was waiting for all the love romance to die down there.
All right, let's talk. Let's talk wrestling. Let's get going. WWE announced the next 3 WrestleMania dates and locations. Of course, that starts out WrestleMania 37 is going to be April 10th and April 11th at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. That's right. It's going to get buck wild at WrestleMania this year.
Buck Wild?
WrestleMania 38, buck wild. Buck near. All right. So, WrestleMania 38, April 3rd, 2022 in Dallas, Texas at Jerry's World, AT&T Stadium. WrestleMania 39 is going to be in Hollywood, Inglewood, always up to no good, as I believe that song always goes.
I wouldn't know.
Is April 2nd, 2023. What I want for you fellas, I want one bold prediction for each WrestleMania. Mr. Napper, because I see the man with the index fingers and thumbs going, is busy over there.
Hi, Jason.
Hello. I'll start with you. I want one bold prediction for WrestleMania 37.
All right, I'm going to get my two easy ones out of the way. I'm going to start with 38 because I assume this is probably an easy one. The Undertaker will not only show up to WrestleMania 38 in Dallas, Texas, but he will wrestle one more match because he's not retired, because that was a myth. As far as Hollywood,
I'm so proud of you.
as far as Hollywood, I think this could happen, but I'm probably wrong. I think John Cena will have a retirement match in Hollywood.
Hollywood.
And then as far as WrestleMania 37 at Raymond James Stadium, should be interesting because it's 2 nights. But let's see. Bold prediction.
Bold.
Bold prediction.
Bold.
Brock Lesnar won't be on the show.
You stop it.
You said bold.
That is bold. I just don't like it. It's a kind of flavor. Ryan, King of the Hill.
Well, first off, Travis, you stole my WrestleMania 39 prediction. That was what was going to be my bold prediction. I think after what we've seen in the video production there, that's going to be John Cena's retirement WrestleMania right there. For this WrestleMania 37, I believe that we're going to see The Fiend and Alexa Bliss both leave with the world titles. Fiend leaves with the world title, and Alexa leaves with the women's title. And then at April 3rd, WrestleMania 38, I think we're going to see Keith Lee take down Brock Lesnar and win the world title. That'll be the passing of the torch there.
All right, so we got 3 bold predictions. McCarthy, do you want me to go, or are you ready?
I'll go ahead.
All right, so I'll give you a WrestleMania 37 prediction. I'll give you 2 just in case the first one. What I mean, you'll understand when I say it. My first 37 bold prediction is if there is an Andre the Memorial Giant Battle Royal, right? If there is one. If there is one, Hulk Hogan's going to be your winner.
For which one?
37. If there is one, Tampa, Florida, he's going in the hall. They're planning a virtual ceremony. If there is an Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, Hulk Hogan's going to win that. If there is not, then my bold prediction is going to be that Brock Lesnar will be on this card. WrestleMania 38. Was the same thing. The Undertaker's going to wrestle his last match for real this time, maybe. And go into the Hall of Fame, similar to like Ric Flair did. I think he'll go in that weekend, have one last match. Against 2, who knows. WrestleMania 39. I'm thinking along the same lines you guys are, but I'm not thinking about John Cena's retirement match. I'm thinking about The Rock's retirement match. I think he goes in the Hall of Fame and has his official retirement match, WrestleMania 39 out in Hollywood.
I like that one.
I don't think John Cena has, it could end up being his last match, but the idea of an official retirement match for John Cena in a case where part-timers continue to get older and older, he's a part-timer that can be utilized more and more down the line.
Well, we also have to figure out what the hell happened to him in the Firefly Funhouse.
Which we don't know, but he was able to pop out and say, Hugh can't see me in the WrestleMania report.
That is true.
So that's my 3 bold predictions, which means it's time for the man that is so adult. I mean, look at him, business-like.
There you go.
So my 3 bold predictions. 37, Hulk Hogan wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. 38, The Undertaker wrestles his actual last match. And 39, The Rock has his retirement match and Hall of Fame induction. How about you, McCarthy? Give me 3 bold predictions, 1 for each WrestleMania.
3 bold predictions. We'll start backwards because everybody else did, probably. I don't know. I was halfway paying
Thanks for
attention.
paying attention.
So I'm going to bounce
really.
off actually both of your ideas. I'm going to say that The Rock and John Cena are going to wrestle at WrestleMania 39. I think he hit the nail on the head, though. I don't think they'll retire John Cena just yet. He's got a lot more mileage than Dwayne The Rock Johnson does. As far as Dallas, Texas, it's going to be not The Undertaker's triumphant return, but Stone Cold Steve Austin's triumphant return.
I wouldn't hate that.
To the squared circle.
I'd rather see The Undertaker.
And
I mean, I would
then
too, but I don't hate that idea.
WrestleMania 37. Let's see. Bold prediction for 2 months from now. 3 months from now. Let's
Math
see.
is important, sir.
Math is important, but that's why I went to media school. Me and math, we're not friends.
Bold prediction. Come on.
I lost it, okay? I'm sorry.
Bold prediction.
Bold prediction. Cesaro becomes the new #1 contender by defeating Shinsuke Nakamura.
It is bold.
And
Doritos would be proud.
Daniel Bryan turns heel once again. And I can't believe I'm going to freaking say this. Cost Drew McIntyre the championship.
You monster, you.
I mean, how else is Daniel going to turn heel again? There's not many avenues for him to turn heel.
I don't know.
But we said bold, so I went bold, guys.
We went bold.
He walks out on Brie. I don't know.
So we've and I.
It's got to be plausible.
Stop it. All right. Here's what we're going to do. Instead of me making vulgar jokes, we're going to move right along to SmackDown. All right. Adam Pearce, he named Kevin Owens his replacement to challenge Roman Reigns for the Rumble. Going to be a last man standing match. Thank God that match is not happening. But I'm not happy that Roman Reigns is facing Kevin Owens again. Like, why can't it be Shinsuke, who's now face again, has the old theme song, works out? It's good. Could have kicked some ass.
Because this is the third one. We got to do this in threes. That's the way they always do this, even though he won twice.
But hold on, pal.
Okay.
Yo, pal. Here's the thing. We could do a 3. We have 2 more pay-per-views before WrestleMania. That's right. Reports are we're going to do Fastlane and Elimination Chamber because we need more.
Because there's not enough.
There's time, as it turns out. There's time. There's time.
Are you sure?
But yet it's all going to feel rushed anyway.
He's right.
All right, Ryan, what do you think?
I'm just glad that Adam Pearce isn't in the match anymore. I was wondering what they were going to do to get themselves out of it. I agree with you, Logan. I wish it would have been Shinsuke, but right now the Kevin Owens angle seems to be the right one. I think they're going to save Shinsuke for Elimination Chamber or Fastlane. So, but I'm just glad it's not Adam Pearce anymore.
All right, how do you feel about it, Mr. McCarthy?
I'm glad it's not Adam Pearce. I like how he was like, oh, my knee. Oh, my God.
Look like me
I
in the morning.
can't wrestle anymore. Ow.
Look like me in the morning.
But I kind of agree with you. Like, why's it got to be Kevin Owens again? Like, I get it. He got thrown off the, video camera, computer screens, whatever the hell they're calling it these days. So he's got to kind of answer to that. But I still think it would have been a great spot for Shinsuke Nakamura, considering what he did in the gauntlet match. And as we've seen in the past few years, the gauntlet match takes you to the world title normally, unless you're Shinsuke Nakamura, apparently.
Right.
But maybe it leads to Roman versus Shinsuke versus Cesaro versus Daniel Bryan versus Jey Uso versus, who else? Kevin Owens in the Elimination Chamber, because there's not many title contenders on SmackDown.
But all kidding aside, that'd be one badass.
That would be one badass match, for sure.
I would not complain.
No, I wouldn't either.
I'd be like, brother, love, I love you.
I couldn't think of anybody else to
love
throw
you.
in there aside from Kevin Owens. Because I don't want to see Corbin. That would be sad.
Like, why not Rey Mysterio?
I almost forgot about
Just for the
Rey.
sake of it. And like, he's not going to win, but his name.
Man, he brings it in those matches. That would be sweet.
Yeah.
Or Lince Dorado.
Yeah, why not?
Why don't we just throw like a wrench in the plans and give somebody else a shot?
Because that would make too much sense.
Ouch.
AJ Appeal says California won't happen. AJ, buddy, WrestleMania 39 is 3 years away. Look, if we ain't got to figure it out in 3 years, hell with it.
I give up.
Grab a vest. Crap's gone nuclear. It's over. If we ain't got to figure it out in 3 years,
I give up.
wrap it up. Pee on the fire. Call on the dogs.
Let's have an I quit match. I already quit.
Yep, I quit. So I hope so. So I hope that Mr. Brian Dolo do appreciate any and all support, whether you're a wrestling fan or not. Do appreciate the love, and that's what the world needs now is love, sweet love. Mr. Napper, what are your thoughts on your main man? Because you are the leader of the Adam Pearce fan club. You had business cards printed up and everything. What are your thoughts on your main
You
man?
didn't make me any?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry.
He likes him better. I can't blame him. You're so rude.
It's not so much that I liked him. I just liked the storyline. But I will say I don't like the way this was handled for a couple of different reasons. Number one, I felt like they rushed this a little too soon. Why not have this on the go-home show and have Kevin Owens be a surprise on the last show before Royal Rumble? You could have easily milked this week, have somebody beat him up or maybe rough him up a little bit. He's limping around a little bit. Maybe he's got a little bit of Charlie Horse. Move on to next week. He's still got a little bit of a limp, and then have that contract signing and play this out. I will say I do agree with you also that I'm okay with it being Kevin Owens to a degree because it's still, hey, Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns have had pretty great matches. But at the same time, I do want to see what they're going to do with Shinsuke because I hope they do something with Shinsuke because they need to because he has shown that he deserves the spotlight right now, him and Cesaro both. I think at some point he's going to be a big factor in possibly the Rumble if he's not going to be involved in this match. But I just didn't like the timing. I thought it was very well rushed. I thought they could have easily moved this or spread this out between the two shows and go from there because then it kind of builds up the anticipation. It gets you attached. It grabs you. And they just didn't do that with this because, and it kind of happened so fast. It's like, I just didn't.
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
It's all right, buddy.
Kevin Owens just pops out of nowhere, and then, like you said, he fell off the whatever they call it, and he didn't sell it at all. You just fell onto a table from I don't know how many feet off the ground, and you couldn't sell your own injury a little bit. For a couple of weeks, he was back in a week or two.
Good, but we're choosing not to.
With selling these days.
Hey,
let's not be too hard on Kevin. So, because I'm pretty sure Foley showed up pretty quickly after getting thrown off
let's make freaking Foley, so that's all right, okay?
That's
the man
true.
is indestructible.
Yeah, but obviously, Kevin Owens is a huge Mick Foley fan because he's the only person that does that crazy stuff that Foley.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about Michael Francis Foley Jr. Let me tell you something.
Wow. He's a junior.
Let me tell you something. Okay?
What?
Let me tell you something about Michael Francis Foley Jr. All right? Let me tell you. The man could walk through hell in a gasoline suit. He'd be all right. Okay?
I mean, you're not wrong. I'm just saying.
It's okay. It's fine. All right?
All right.
All right, point being. Before we move on, we want to remind you that we thank you for listening to Score On Air. Right here, Score On Air Network. Always, we appreciate it. Go check out all the other shows. Fine shows. Fine shows on this network. And don't forget to check out Mojo Sports Gear. You can give them a call at 614-864-6656. Again, that is 614-864-6656. Or check them out at their website, mojosportsgear.com. Last piece of housekeeping, by the way. Follow us on Twitter at To The Buckle. To The Buckle. If you want more of this in your life, and there's no reason that you shouldn't. I mean, we're not any crazier than what's going on in the real world, folks. So if you want this in your life, please give us a follow at To The Buckle on Twitter. Give our new Facebook page a like, To The Turnbuckle. Give our new Facebook a like. Follow all those things. Oh, look at you, you beautiful man.
Oh, yeah, we're live on Instagram right now, too. The Bruiser Nation Productions Instagram
live on
page.
Instagram. So give us a follow at To The Buckle, and I'll tell you what happens To The Buckle. Every Monday, I take that sucker over and I live tweet 3 hours of hell. And then every Wednesday, Mr. Dynamite over here gets to Twitter. When are you going to get a day?
Friday.
Okay.
This Friday, or are you just saying Friday?
Are you just teasing?
Well, teasing.
I mean,
teasing.
If you want to do Friday, that's fine. But say, you don't work on a Wednesday, it's not like we both can't tweet two different shows at the same time.
It's
not like, oh no, Twitter's not going to let us use it at the same time.
I've thought about doing NXT. I've thought about it. I didn't want to step on your toes.
I don't care.
All right, I'm going to step on them toes this Wednesday.
Care less.
This Wednesday.
Step on them like Bobby did to Matt Riddle.
I'm a professional.
Right.
I don't care.
This Wednesday then. This Wednesday. Well, maybe not tomorrow. But next week. Starting next week, because, I kind of want to watch all the festivities. No.
I'm going to try to forget all those, because I got the Bruce Cruz podcast, the only podcast to bring you pro wrestling for your ears.
I just finished the housekeeping. So, anyway.
To produce.
Brian, help me.
All right.
I'm not a very good producer.
All right.
The show's going off the rails.
Doesn't that do that every week?
Focus! Huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. Focus. It's time to get serious for a minute. Yeah, Ty. See, I got serious.
Big T.
2
Fisher. All right, T. Fisher. Okay. Ding dong. All right. So, hello. Apollo Crews defeated Sami Zayn. Do you think Crews is going to join Roman?
No.
No.
Yes.
How about you, Ryan?
I hope so. I mean, he needs something to be done to his character, and I feel like joining with Roman could elevate him to another level that he's not on
He
already.
can be a
So
jerk.
yeah, he can be a jerk and actually play a great character there.
It's Apollo Crews for like 10 years now.
I like cookies.
It's not working.
Mr. Napper, you say no. Tell us, give us the theory.
I don't think he's going to join with Roman, but I feel like they're still going to try to get to him without him actually joining them. Because if you've watched Talking Smack over the last couple of weeks, they did the same thing to Big E. I feel like there's going to be a storyline where at some point they try to manufacture this feud between Big E and Apollo Crews and have them fighting each other, maybe have Apollo Crews take out Big E, because maybe they see him as the next big threat to Roman Reigns because of all his size and his speed and his athletic ability. But that's my theory. I think this is all a work to kind of use Apollo Crews. They won't necessarily have him join, but he is going to be used in storyline to take out the trash.
So we're working, brother.
So what you're saying is that Roman is going to go all mob boss on him anyway?
Yeah.
Regardless of what he does?
Absolutely.
I kind of like that.
I know, right?
Actually.
All right. So Ryan's in favor. McCarthy's in favor. You are not in favor. I am in favor. For God's sake, we need something with Apollo Crews. Look at him. He's built like a Greek god, and we got nothing for this guy?
That's why I don't really want them to do it, because we've tried this so many times with him, and it doesn't work.
I mean, but it might, though. He needs to bring out his inner moose, who is pretty legit, actually, after watching that show on Saturday.
Hard to kill.
Saturday? Hard to kill? It was Saturday. Yeah, it was Saturday. They all blend together.
Whoever's calling me from Cleveland right now, I can't answer your call. I'm doing a show. Thank you.
That is now live on the air.
Yes!
I don't care.
Yes!
All right.
I don't either, but I just wanted to point it out.
But now, let's talk about a technical masterpiece. Cesaro, I'm not joking.
Oh, I read down. I missed one. Sorry. I see what he's talking about now. I'm sorry.
Cesaro defeated Daniel Bryan in a match that if you didn't enjoy this match, turn off the television. Don't turn off the stream. Please keep the stream on. Just pee on the fire because you're not a wrestling fan.
No.
This match was wonderful, and it showed, number one, that Daniel Bryan has got plenty in the tank, and it shows why Cesaro is the most underutilized Judah guy on that roster besides Dolph Ziggler, in my opinion. Cesaro has got it in spades. Why this man doesn't at least have a championship is just stunning to me. Why he's the one guy that Paul Heyman couldn't get over is just stunning to me. This guy's got it. What'd you think of this match? What do we do with Cesaro? I'll start with you, Mr. McCarthy.
Dude, this match was absolutely amazing. And everybody that's watched this podcast before knows that this is the crux of my wrestling fandom. Yes, the entertainment got me into it, but this, being in the ring, I love the workers, and this was like Christmas morning for me because we don't get to see this enough. But but I like it when they do this. We need the entertainment mixed in with the 5-star A+ wrestling that we get from guys like Cesaro and Daniel Bryan.
Certainly.
And you're right. Like, what the hell? How is he not? Because you could just throw Cesaro in a title match and no one would bat an eye. No one would care. Whether he won or lost, that's a different conversation. But no one's going to go, why is Cesaro getting a title shot? He's more than earned one.
You'd be like, about damn time.
And exactly. What is going on? And so I think that's what needs to happen with this storyline, which, like I said, he better be in that elimination chamber. Because if there's one, which there should probably only be one, it needs to involve Roman Reigns. Because his storytelling right now in-ring storytelling is top-notch. Mm-hmm. So we need that mixed in with fantastic wrestling, mixed in with some hardcore ridiculousness that we always get in the elimination chamber.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really want to see two of those matches. I'd rather just see one.
Same.
I don't really need 2 elimination chambers.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't need a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view either.
No, not really. No.
Christopher Brown says the match was pay-per-view that match was a pay-per-view quality match. Thank you, Chris, for commenting and watching. We couldn't agree more. Absolutely. Do you think that Daniel Bryan still has hopes of winning the Royal Rumble?
I kind of feel like no.
How about you, Ryan? Daniel Bryan got any shot of winning the Rumble?
To put top guys that they like in a situation where they lose a lot, and then they have like this big push for them to where they get over the hump. So I think they do have some sort of plans for Daniel. Whether it's winning the Rumble, that's a different story. But I do think that he has a great chance at winning it.
That's that question, boys, because by all accounts, including Daniel Bryan himself, his full-time in-ring career is winding down. Now he is not retiring, but switching priorities. He's going to be a father and a family man more times than not. What about you, McCarthy? For a while it looked like Daniel Bryan might be a favorite to win the Rumble, but now the booking seems to have cooled off a little bit. Does he still have a shot, or is Vince and company looking like they're going a different direction?
I think he still has a really big shot because he's going to be... WrestleMania is always the culmination of storylines traditionally. And if you look at it, you can't keep having Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns all the way to WrestleMania. We're already you can. We would rather not. But they've been feuding back and forth technically for years. And what a way to end his full-time career than getting a shot in the main event at WrestleMania against Roman Reigns. And you could actually, some small guys you can't buy beating the big guy. Daniel Bryan is always going to be the exception to that rule. And there's going to be a lot of cases in that if he gets that title shot where it's like, oh, my God, he's really going to beat him. Because Daniel Bryan can beat anybody on any given night. It's like he's like Shawn Michaels mixed with Lance Storm and a little bit of
the bubbly.
A little bit of the bubbly, yeah.
Well, I'm a huge Daniel Bryan fan. Daniel Bryan is one of the reasons. He's the kind of guy that can make you fall back in love with professional wrestling if you've lost a little bit of it. I
fall back in love with it.
I can't lose this virus, unfortunately, but I like Daniel Bryan because he's so good at everything he does, and on top of that, and I don't, maybe you disagree with his politics, depending on who you are, but overall, is the quality of a person, you can't get better.
No.
We can all disagree on policies of politics and things like that, and whatever. That's for a different show, different time. But you can't. The reason that I'm so hard on Shawn Michaels is because now he is much better now, but for years he was an absolute jerk all the time by his own admission, and he's gotten so much better. Christopher Brown says that Nakamura is going to win the Rumble, and he'll be facing Roman at Mania. They're going to be pushing Shinsuke in the same manner they were Drew last year. I would be okay with that, but I wouldn't be as confident if I were you, Christopher, because, and this is going to sound controversial, folks. Hello.
Ding dong.
But one of the reasons that Vince reportedly doesn't like Nakamura as well is because he doesn't like his English. You've heard that report, right?
Well, yeah, but that doesn't stop Asuka. They let Asuka be herself.
Don't make me say it.
Because it's not English. It's just noise.
Don't make me say it.
It's not always noise.
That's true.
She speaks some Japanese in there, I'm assuming.
This is the guy. Look, if you're attractive, he's gonna.
I know, yeah. I know, but still.
That's fair.
That's just the way he is. It's the facts of it. In the same way that Tony Khan is a morally good person and doesn't have the killer instinct, Vince is the opposite. His morals are questionable, but he's got the killer instinct. So we'll see on all that. All right, Ding Dong Hello premiered with special guest Bianca Belair. I enjoyed this more than I thought I would. I have to admit. I thought, oh my God, this is going to suck like the Newly Bros show.
What?
What? Go ahead.
You don't like the Newly Bro show?
Nobody likes anything to do with bro.
All right, first of all, he's growing on me. Look, you want to talk about selling? He sold the hell out of that floor stomp by Bobby Lashley. Okay? He sold the hell out of that.
I'm just being facetious. You can't deny the skills that bro
Look, bro.
Can Riddle even spell facetious?
Probably not.
I can't spell facetious.
I don't know if I can spell it, but I know how to use it correctly.
Look, Loganites, can you spell facetious? Christopher Brown says, well, I can't repeat that, but in short, he hated the segment. In short, he hated the segment. In really short.
Yes, he very much did. I mean, he all capped that thing.
Yeah. Okay. Why'd you hate it so much, Christopher? I mean, because that is some passion. That is some big league passion, and I'm just curious as
I
to
thought we were off the rails.
as to why you hated it so much.
I appreciate the enthusiasm.
I do too.
As do I.
That's a true Loganite right there.
Yes.
Thank you, Loganites. Again, give us a follow at To The Buckle on To The Turnbuckle Podcast, at To The Buckle on Twitter. To The Buckle, at To The Buckle, To The
And
Buckle.
yes, we're still going to call them Loganites.
Loganites forever. Because I still can't get over it myself. All right.
And we really don't want to come up with a new name.
Yeah, I'm
Look,
lazy.
that name was fun to come up with. I did it.
Look,
I mean, yeah.
God, nobody likes a bragger. Right?
I mean, somebody does, but we don't like them either.
Well, I mean, I might like them. It's this guy I got questions about.
Ow.
So, all right. So, what'd you think of Ding Dong Hello, Mr. Napper?
I'm actually in agreement with you. I enjoyed this a little bit more than I thought I was going to, because at first I was like, oh, goody, somebody else has a show. Who's booking this? Oprah? You get a show. You get a show. Everybody's getting a show.
I'll see you at the waiting room.
Can't wait to talk about that one. But I actually did enjoy it. The way they started. Bailey, I think, made this better than I expected it was going to be. Mm-hmm. I thoroughly enjoy the way her character has progressed. It's fun. And it works because of who Bianca Belair is. It works with her personality and the way she carries her character. It just, the two of them in the ring together works very well. And I think this could be fun for quite a few weeks. Hopefully they let this feud drag out for a little while, because this could be fun. Even if it's not for a title or anything, I think this could be a fun one.
I have to agree. I think it's got a lot of potential. I thought this was better than I thought it was going to be. I kept worrying my dog was going to bark every time they rang the bell, because my dog likes to bark when they ring bells, but she was good. Mr. McCarthy, what'd you think of Ding Dong Hello?
Well, first I'm going to shout out to Steve Castellanovo.
Big Stevie C.
Who spelled facetious for us.
Mm-hmm.
And educational tidbit, Loganites.
Mm.
Apparently, it's the only word in the English language where all the vowels are placed in the order they appear alphabetically. Thanks, Steve. We all learned something today here on Logan.
He said weird. He didn't say word.
And be sure.
I know, but I read it properly. He didn't mean to, because he fixed it later. Word.
And be sure to watch Big Stevie C every Sunday around 2:00. The Heel and Face podcast. He uploads that sucker everywhere, and he gives you a very unique perspective on WWE and AEW. And he will not justify Vince's crappy booking like I will. So, on the bright side,
So me and Steve should just be friends.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I didn't say we're not
right.
friends. I'm just saying.
You can tell I was just taking it back. I was like, buddy, we're on the air. Could have told me in private.
Welcome to the first and last episode of Into the Turnbuckle.
To the Turnbuckle.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah, to the Turnbuckle. I'm sorry.
We're going to get it right. To the Turnbuckle, the Wrestling Palooza. All right.
I don't know if I can fit that in the graphic.
Ryan, any thoughts on Ding Dong Hello?
It was okay. I mean, Bailey did the best she could to carry the segment. I enjoy the work that Bailey's doing as a heel. I think it's the best work she's had. And, I mean, they could have did a better way of possibly setting up an obstacle course. I mean, I don't really care to see an obstacle course next week, but here we go.
I'd like to just say, who gives a damn about an obstacle course? I want to watch wrestlers wrestle. Look. Say what you want about Goldberg, but I'd much rather watch Spear, Jackhammer, Ball Game than an obstacle course. Can we agree on that?
I mean,
can we agree on that?
That's fair.
For God's sake.
That is fair.
Nobody is. Look, Brother Love, Bruce, I know you're booking 2 shows and you're working for the hardest man to work for in the world. But nobody, I repeat, nobody wants to see an obstacle course.
Throw that stuff on YouTube or something.
Especially after her husband did the exact same Hey.
Oh, that's right, they did. Oh, let's recycle things from 8 months ago instead of coming up with new ideas.
They also
Montez
play,
Ford is married to Bianca Belair. Let's just do that again.
they
That was
al-
fun.
They also play basketball.
He was entertaining.
That's
I'm sure
fair.
she'll be too.
And golf, and 8 turkey legs.
And 3
other
turkey legs, and then
things.
somehow
Look.
managed to have the force with turkey
Look.
legs.
Look, could I be wrong?
Didn't they bowl once?
I don't know. I'm trying to strike it from my memory here.
Could-
Not helping.
Could I be wrong? Sure. Could it
sorry.
entertain us somehow or another? Possibly. But nobody gives the flying flip of any nickel if you're a wrestling fan about watching an obstacle course. We can disagree on a whole lot, wrestling fans. We can disagree on nostalgia. We can disagree on Goldberg. We can disagree on Hogan. But at least everything I'm talking about is something to do with actual wrestling. Nobody gives a damn. Not one single iota. We could bring the country together if we polled Republicans and Democrats if they want to watch this obstacle course. We could bring them all together. We could, hell, the president and president-elect could shake hands on to hell with an obstacle course on WWE television. I'm sure of it. For God's sake, nobody cares. If anybody thinks that's good, and I only know one guy that would, Vince, you're wrong. You're wrong, old man. I love you, but dear God, you're wrong. Okay, I'm moving on. Oh,
We have somebody that hates Bailey as a heel.
Peyton the Ring
see
Lord,
that.
my better half says I hate Bailey as a heel, and I'm glad she's got an opinion. That's how you know I got to keep her, boys. That's how you know I got to keep her. Look at that. Oh, just,
Job.
does Lauren have any wrestling opinions yet?
No, not yet. I'm working on it.
Someday.
Someday.
You seem to be more easy to work with than I am. King Corbin defeated Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio. Peyton says, I like obstacle courses. But do you want to watch one dirty television, Peter?
Peter?
Peter Henry. That's her name.
We've been through this. How many times have we done the show together?
Yeah.
Get with the program, man.
Get with the program. The program is To the Turnbuckle every Tuesdays, 5 to 8.
Nice,
Anyway,
nice.
all right. So Rey Mysterio looks great in 2021. By the way, let's point that out.
does.
He looks damn good. What'd you think of this match? Any thoughts? I'll start with you, Ryan.
I thought the in-ring match was pretty solid. Dominic overshadowed it, and he kind of just looked lost throughout the whole segment, sitting on the commentary table. He didn't sound confident there. I don't know. Dominic's just not hitting it for me right now. He came on strong back when he was debuting back in July, and he took that beating, but now he kind of just seems lost and doesn't know what he's doing out there. So maybe he's not going to be the next star that Vince is wanting, but who knows? I'll give it time. But outside that,
Yeah, it was solid. I don't know if King Corbin really needed the win. I'm tired of King Corbin.
I am too.
We've all been tired of King Corbin.
I'm tired.
I think he definitely needed the win, but at the same time, can we please drop the gimmick? And what happened to what are their names? What happened to the Forgotten Sons? I forgot their name.
Yeah, the Cutler and I don't.
Yes,
who knows?
Murphy, Cutler and Murphy,
Who knows? Who knows?
the Knights of the whatever.
Who knows? Who knows?
I've already forgotten clearly.
But all right. Oh well. Any thoughts, McCarthy? Anything on this one?
No, not really. You guys failed it pretty good.
Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Jey Uso. Great to see the old theme song back, by the way. Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yes, awesome.
That's a pretty big league.
I wish they'd kind of bring back
is.
the Titantron though. I liked his Titantron. Like the video. It was fun. It was cool. And they had the lights and everything. Go ahead. What?
I sound so frustrated right now.
He really does.
I was talking about you.
Oh, well, because he's staring at me like I said something wrong.
You might have.
Any thoughts on this match, sir?
I mean, I thought it was good. Jey Uso getting a shot, like, it's whether he's winning or losing, it's nice to see Jey Uso towards the top of the card. And he hasn't been, I mean, he's been there for the past 8 months, but 6 months, 4 months, I don't know. It was fine.
2, 3,
Main
4.
event, Jey Uso to you, sir.
Main event Jey Uso, I'm sorry.
I don't know if you said that or not. I just wanted to reiterate it.
King of
If
the
I
Hill.
don't, Roman Reigns is going to get me.
King of the Hill. Any thoughts on this match?
I mean, I thought it was a solid match again. I like to see both of these guys in top-level feuds. I think they're both great in-ring competitors, and hopefully this is a big push for Shinsuke, but it does kind of seem like we might get a heel turn out of Cesaro soon. I don't know when it's coming, but...
We shall see. Natalya defeated Liv Morgan. Look, I'm just going to take this one, boys. Remember when they split up Liv Morgan from the Riot Squad to give Liv Morgan a big push, and Liv Morgan was looking good. Hell, she was in a lesbian angle that I was really looking forward to. Not going to lie to you. I was hoping to see it. Really hope they'll revisit that someday with some vignettes. Backstage.
No.
Couches.
No.
Red wine.
Please.
Yeah.
No.
Anywho, but great for Natalya that she's still around. But all kidding aside, Natalya is in the way at this point. Naomi needs that spot.
Where's Naomi been?
There's, nothing wrong with this match. It's just, it feels like, and so often we've said this in the last 5 years to decade, it feels like Ben starts out with a plan. Liv Morgan, like I said, they broke up the Riot Squad. Originally, it looked like Liv Morgan's going to get pushed to the moon, which I think they should. And now the Riot Squad back together, and they even have a new member in Billy Kay. Oh, God, I miss the Iconics.
So do I.
Sure, they do too.
Peyton is sighing at me for some reason. I don't know why. Could it be that I wanted to see a lesbian angle on TV?
I'm going to assume that that's what she's sighing for.
You picked me. Anywho, that's how I feel about it. This match, nothing special. Again, we'll see what happens, but I wish that they would go with that big push for Liv, because why else did we do all this? It just feels like, well, that didn't work. Let's go back to what also didn't really work.
Hasn't that been the product for...
Look, you act like Dynamite has no issues.
I'm just saying. We're going
to get to that.
Look.
We're going to get to that.
We can all say that they give up way too fast on things.
Sure.
And that's all I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
That's all I'm complaining about.
Because that push for Orange Cassidy is really working out. Anywho.
At a point.
Anywho. And it's not ran by a guy that might be demented. But anywho, we're going to take our first break here onto the Turnbuckle. When we come back, we're going to talk AEW Dynamite. When we come back, we're going to talk NXT. When we come back, I'm going to yell at McCarthy.
That sounds fun.
Oh, that's just mean.
It's become because we are so...
I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, but
okay.
It's still...
Wow.
Really?
Well,
at least he deserved it.
I mean, damn.
So
I can't see you, so I can talk crap about you.
So
fair.
everybody be sure to stay tuned right here on the first inaugural episode, the first of many. I think we'll be doing this in 5 years, folks. That's right. Well,
I would assume.
I'm going to deal with you.
Going
You think we're going to deal with each other the next 5 years?
I think we can.
Probably 10 years. Probably 20 years. Why the hell not? I mean, I don't think AEW is going to be in business that long, but I think we will be.
That cut deep.
So, anywho, we're going to come right back here onto the Turnbuckle. Don't you dare move. As always, we are presented by the fine folks at where, McCarthy?
Mojo Sports Gear.
All righty. Do you have design ideas for t-shirts but you're not sure where to go? Go to Mojo Sports Gear. That's right, Mojo Sports Gear. At Mojo Sports Gear, you can get custom-made shirts. Whatever design you need, Mojo Sports Gear can provide it. Don't forget to grab a custom-made cap on your way out and rock the best headgear in the game. Give them a call at 614-864-6656. That's 614-864-6656.
In sports, you want to have a player that can get the job done right every time. A real all-star, somebody that's dependable and you can turn to when the game is tough. That player in the audio-video industry is the theater people. From setting up your home's Wi-Fi network and offices, conference rooms, to setting up home theater inside or outside, to setting up the systems to make your home run smarter and safer as well. The theater people can do it all with the quality of professionalism you can expect every single time. That isn't just a great all-around player, that is an all-star. That is why we are the leaders in audiovisual installation in Central Ohio. So call us at 614-604-6327 or check out our website at ttpcolumbus.com to figure out which products will fit you. And don't forget, amplify your personality with the theater.
Do you have design ideas for t-shirts but you're not sure where to go? Go to Mojo Sports Gear. That's right, Mojo Sports Gear. At Mojo Sports Gear, you can get custom-made shirts. Whatever design you need, Mojo Sports Gear can provide it. Don't forget to grab a custom-made cap on your way out and rock the best headgear in the game. Give them a call at 614-864-6656. That's 614-864-6656.
In sports, you want to have a player that can get the job done right every time. A real all-star, somebody that's dependable and you can turn to when the game is tough. That player in the audio-video industry is the theater people. From setting up your home's Wi-Fi network and offices, conference rooms, to setting up home theater inside or outside, to setting up the systems to make your home run smarter and safer as well. The theater people can do it all with the quality of professionalism you can expect every single time. That isn't just a great all-around player, that is an all-star. That is why we are the leaders in audiovisual installation in Central Ohio. So call us at 614-604-6327 or check out our website at ttpcolumbus.com to figure out which products will fit you. And don't forget, amplify your personality with the theater.
We are ready, and welcome back to the Turnbuckle. I almost said it.
You did.
I almost said it. Almost said it. Damn. All right. Peyton Noreen Lore, my better half, says Vince's corpse will be running the wrestling world in 20 years. Why the hell not? Why not?
The only thing I
Think
have
of
to
hologram.
Say, the only thing I have to say is don't be sad if you say the other one, because I've done that, and Ryan will tell you I've messed up the name of our show plenty of times.
Okay. It's all right. I like it, Peyton.
Okay.
All right.
Shut up.
It's time to talk a little AEW Dynamite.
Dynamite.
The one company that Vince doesn't run.
There's a couple other ones.
Has there?
I mean, Impact's a company. New Japan's a company.
Impact.
Ring of Honor's a company.
At this point, Impact is fused with AEW.
Well, that's
Yes.
probably fair, but it's still a company.
Stop it.
Still TNA to me, damn it.
Don't make me say bad things about a company when I want their employees to come on this show.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah,
Don't say a word. Don't know what you're talking about.
Sure.
Wow.
You
Thanks. Thanks for the vote of confidence, producer.
okay.
Appreciate it.
Feels weird. Somebody else being called
It is
that.
weird. I'm used to yelling this way. Now I got to yell this way. It's so weird.
Yeah, that's we're gonna put these masks to a test. Here, DeWine, we have a study.
Because we're going to probably yell at each other for 10 minutes.
Okay, adjusting the levels now.
All right, Darby Allin defeated. Look, Ryan, as you know, this is the McCarthy hour. It's where he likes to fangirl.
Wow.
So
Wow.
Is
I
he
mean,
wrong?
Can I at least get an hour? You fangirl for 2. You started it, buddy.
he cuts deep. All right, Darby Allin defeated Brian Cage with Ricky Starks and Hook in the corner. Of course, I thought this was going to be Brian Cage's moment. I thought so, but I don't mind this result because Darby Allin is to me, he reminds me so much of Jeff Hardy in his prime or a young Surfer Sting, in terms of the way he can move. What?
Nothing.
All right.
Just picturing Surfer Sting and then picturing Darby Allin.
He's a skateboarder. Sting was a surfer. It fits.
Yeah, but
sir.
he's missing the
All right.
blonde hair.
Okay, I'm agreeing with Logan on something in AEW. Can you not try to tear it apart?
It's rare.
Golly, gee.
It's going to
whiz.
change here real soon. So, what were your thoughts on this matchup? Was this the right call? Was Darby Allin the right call to win this match?
In terms of... God, that's such a hard question.
Yep.
Because
That's why I asked it.
Darby Allin deserves to hold the title longer. But it also begs the question, what in the world are we doing with the Swolverine Brian Cage? That match was amazing, and it was all Brian Cage. I mean, come on. He caught Darby Allin and in a vertical suplex during a suicide dive. What are we going to do with this man? It's like it's not the same situation as Wardlow because we haven't seen as much from Wardlow. But Brian Cage is another one of those guys that you could just give the title and no one's going to bat an eye. Is he up there yet? Should he be? Yes. Is he there in storyline? No. But he should be. Could you imagine the match he could have with Kenny Omega? If he did that with Darby Allin. No, I'm not saying anything against Darby Allin because Darby Allin is a special talent. But their chemistry would mix so well. Their styles, the Japan style and Brian Cage's powerhouse style would mesh so well. I'm just waiting for what he's going to complain about because
I need to put
I don't understand the hatred for Kenny Omega. I just don't.
Someday you will.
I just don't.
So,
is it the talent?
one word, broom.
Oh, dear God, he wrestled a broom one time.
or a child.
Oh, dear God, he wrestled a child one time. In Japan, 10 years ago.
Wait, did he ever wrestle Marco Stunt? I think that counts too.
Might as well. All right. Anywho,
But yet Vince McMahon's the best ever.
we
No.
will. Look, that's not what I'm saying. At all. When have I ever said that? I've said close.
2 weeks ago, maybe.
Look, I'm gonna rip up Monday Night Raw. You wait.
Oh, I can't wait to rip up Monday Night Raw.
So, but we'll get to his part of the show. Yeah. Look, Brian Cage is a stud. He's got the look. And we've known that really since Lucha Underground, to be quite honest with you.
Really.
Oh, for sure.
And then, of course, Impact did make him world champion, and he moves like a cruiserweight, and he's built like a brick crap house. And I'll be able to say the rest of it when we're off scoring there. But again, I think Darby Allin winning was the right call. I thought Brian Cage was going to win. The problem is, again, when does Brian Cage get that win to be credible? Because currently he's holding a belt that not even the original promotion of that belt recognized. You know, the ECW didn't recognize the FTW championship. Shane Douglas got hurt, blew out his elbow, and so Taz was like, well, I'll make my own damn belt then since you won't defend it. And they did not officially sanction in story or real the FTW championship.
Right.
So waiting for that big win, but it had been a little soon to take Darby off. And still waiting for the official confirmation of what's going on with Sting and is he the manager? Obviously, he came out to even the odds, and I've never seen people so afraid of a 61-year-old man with a bad neck and a baseball bat. But it is what it is. Like, I get it. That's just how, it's the same thing when The Undertaker pops up these days. You mortal in fear out of respect. That's how it is. There. I was fair.
I mean, it's still a baseball bat.
I mean, but it's still good. Come on. Okay, let's get serious for a second.
Sure.
Let's just get serious for a second.
I'll be glad to.
I have a scar
For a
right
second?
here from a baseball bat.
Yeah.
I mean, I took the guy down afterwards, so it's not that scary, especially for someone as big as Brian Cage.
I mean,
I get it. Show the respect of the character and the lineage of Sting.
the icon.
The icon, thank you.
Oh, I forgot my hat.
But, yeah.
That's okay.
At some point, 5 guys should
That's okay.
not be afraid of one dude with a bat. Like, nothing against Sting, but he's not the Undertaker.
Hey, but the other
Exactly.
guy had a skateboard. So, yeah.
All right.
Oh, no.
All right. Ryan, do you have anything you want to chime in on with AEW?
I mean, I think that was a solid match. I think Darby deserved the win right there. Right now, he's still getting his feet wet here with the title. I mean, Brian Cage looked like the beast that he is in the match. I mean, he looked phenomenal in the match. He carried it all the way. And then, I mean, it took a Sting, coming out to even the odds for Darby to get the roll-up win there. So, I mean, Brian did everything he was supposed to. I thought it was...
Not bad at all. Inner Circle had some New Year's resolutions, which was titles.
Yes, Brian. I love
Titles.
Titles.
But titles and plenty of dissension.
Yeah.
Plenty of dissension. I mean, it's... where do you think this is going, McCarthy?
Man, it's almost to the point where they almost have to break up at this point. Like, this is getting ridiculous. We just had the 2 Hosses fighting each other. Now we're going to have
Tag Team Challenge
3
next week.
tag teams, which I'm not complaining about the match itself.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, this inner turmoil can't last. It's either got to stop with this tag team match or they need to break up in the next 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this, you can't, this storyline will get old if you keep going back to this well. And someone with the magnitude and career of Chris Jericho should know that. So let's see where this goes, because he has a lot to say about what he does in story and in matches.
Mhm.
So we'll see if his hubris gets the best of him or if they decide to split or keep this going and stop with the inner turmoil that we're having for the past 3 months of the Inner Circle.
What a
Look at you
word.
today, Mr. Thesaurus.
I know,
What a
look at
word.
me. Don't call me a thesaurus.
What a
Just
word.
kidding. It's fine. I take
Would you
it
rather
as
be called
compliment.
T-Rex?
Hubris. Hubris.
Hubris.
My boy T-Rex over here.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's got a scary,
J-Rex.
frightening ring to it.
He's
Yes,
J-Rex.
J-Rex. I love it.
He's J-Rex, the bruiser.
The Bruiser J-Rex.
All right.
That's
go.
actually not bad.
It's not bad at all.
I'm going to write that down.
So, Ryan, where do you think it's going with your boys? Are we about to see the...
I think we're going to see them start going their separate ways, but I also think that they're going to try and push Jericho and MJF as a tag team right now, even though I think they both deserve to go on their own and be solo stars because I think they both can carry this company on their backs alone. So I love the Inner Circle. I don't really want to see them split up, but, I mean, I think we're going to see Jericho and MJF have a little tag team run for a little bit.
Because it belongs to Proud and Powerful. Damn it. They made a good point.
I don't know.
Jericho brought them in to be the tag team of the Inner Circle. They made a valid point.
My vote's for Sammy Hagar.
Get out of here.
I like Lay Sex Gods.
I miss Lay Sex Gods.
You don't like Sammy Hagar?
I didn't say I didn't like it. I said I miss Lay Sex Gods. And that's like, and this is why we need to make a decision and finally break up or not. Because Sammy made valid points too.
Are we breaking
He
up?
brought him in
I don't want to break
to
up.
be, not us, the Inner Circle.
Oh.
Jericho brought Sammy
not an Inner Circle?
in to be the young future star. And now MJF's over here walking around like he runs the place.
Like you runs it.
He really does walk around like he runs it.
And I'm offended at the term run. So
I second the...
So I mean that's
second that.
why I get upset every Wednesday. I mean just upsets me. So, all right, Napper, you think they're breaking up?
eventually I do.
Well,
I do.
yeah, of course, eventually. I mean, anytime soon, thanks.
No, it's going to be at least a couple weeks before they...
Well, a couple weeks is soon.
Okay, by time...
right,
how
by-
far away is Revolution?
Yeah,
February.
yeah.
Okay, by February.
Okay, then kind of soon. Do you second
I
that
guess
motion?
it is kind of soon.
Do you second that motion?
Depends where they're going with
Okay.
this. I don't know. I don't know where they're going with this, okay? If Proud and Powerful wins the tag team invitational, whatever the hell they're calling it, then no, they're not going to break up. But if they,
Dustin Cup.
it's not the Dustin Cup. That's a different show.
Oh,
It's a Dusty Rhodes Classic, thank you.
Yeah.
Tag Team Classic, I'm
Yeah, tag team classic.
They
Which
can,
is
have a,
weird because how much Vince hates tag team wrestling. It's so weird.
they can have a Dustin Tag
But
Team
we're gonna
Classic.
have a bunch of tag teams, baby. Tag teams.
Oh, yes, baby.
Little tag teams. Alrighty. So the Elite, which turned out to be Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. Your favorite wrestler, Kenny Omega.
Close second. Chris is still the first.
Um,
Let's just get that right.
Let me just oh God. They defeated Danny Limelight and the Varsity Blondes. Look, I get it. We're having a nice nostalgia Bullet Club reunion. I mean, I'm all for nostalgia. But let's talk about Kenny Omega. I don't want to say hatred, but I don't hate anybody for that matter.
Dislike.
My strong dislike for the character of the broomstick wrestling, girl wrestling fellow. Did he ever apologize for those things? Because he should. Did he realize he was wrong?
Considering he uses a broom for his entrance, probably
Probably
not.
not.
Probably not.
Look, I want to be very clear about something here, people. Very clear. This is your fault. This is your fault. Not Kenny Omega and his lack of creativity. But that of course is not your fault. I just meant my newfound disdain is your fault. Because there was a poll. That you
God's sakes.
and I mean you just put him in the same breath as the icons of icons. Really. I mean, is he
Once again, It didn't say who's the greatest of all time. It said who's your favorite. And I didn't even vote for Kenny Omega, but he has been wrestling for 15 years. He may not be at their level, but he is at their level in Japan. If you talk to people in Japan, he's an icon. And we have to reach that community too, because this is a worldwide podcast. It's not a Mexico podcast. It's not a Canadian podcast. It's not an America podcast. It's a worldwide professional wrestling podcast. Had I said which of these is the GOAT and put him in it, I could understand. But I don't understand because I didn't use those words.
Look, I want to be clear. Number one, we do agree it's a worldwide podcast. I want to reach the Japan market so badly so I can tell them how wrong they are.
Wow.
Each and every week.
Pretty terrible.
I've said way worse. I've said way worse. I've said way worse. That's not that terrible compared.
But if you want to hear appreciation for Japanese wrestling, listen to the Bruce Cruz podcast.
Look,
the only podcast that brings you professional wrestling for your ears. Sorry, I had to pivot.
I understand.
Did you, though? Did you really?
I understand you had to pivot.
Yeah, you know me, yes.
But that's a terrible generalization. I'll tell you why. It's not that they won't hear appreciation here. They're just not going to hear appreciation from me. I'll let you have the floor. I'm always fair about that. Am I not?
Yeah, that's pretty
I'm always fair. They'll have plenty of appreciation for that style. Absolutely. It's just not coming from me. I don't have to do it. I think Ric Flair pushing 72 is far more entertaining than Kenny Omega now. I mean, I believe that wholeheartedly.
Ryan.
That's all right, Ryan. You can be Rob. That's all right. I mean, you root for the Patriots. That's easy to do.
It is.
Well, that's not wrong. I'm surprised we agree on so much since we're rivals in football, but it's fine.
That's all right, buddy. But, all right. We will try to move it on here. What do you think of the match? We'll always argue about Kenny Omega. It's great shtick. What do you think of the match?
I thought the match was all right. It served two purposes, and it did it well. Mm-hmm. The first purpose was to make sure there wasn't any leftover rust because Kenny, Doc Gallows, and Carl Anderson haven't wrestled together in years. Mm-hmm. And the other purpose was to show how good the Varsity Blondes and Danny Limelight really are. Because they really showed out against, not stars in this business that have been doing this for a long time. And they really showed that they can hang with those guys. The results were never in doubt. You knew dang well that they weren't going to lose. I was surprised when it became Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson because, like I've said before, I'm not the biggest Young Bucks supporter, but I did enjoy their almost heel turn because they need that viciousness. And so I was actually disappointed when they weren't in this match because I want to see them as heels. I liked that better.
We've agreed on that for several months now.
Have.
Let me ask you, gentlemen, about a piece of news I saw today concerning this particular group. They have filed for the trademark of the Too Sweet. What are your thoughts on that? It's a great wrestling debate, and I'm not here to debate it. I just want all your opinions. I'll start with you, King of the Hill. Who owns?
I think the Bullet Club that we have now, I mean, they seem to be the ones that we see do it all the time. I mean, Vince doesn't need it. That was the NWO back in WCW and everything else. I don't think that he needs it, and I don't watch Japan wrestling enough to know much about what's going on over there, so I'll just stick with the Bullet Club now. I think they deserve it.
I'm so hurt. Ryan, there's a thing called the WWE Network for just $9.99. And you can go back. You can go back and you can watch every damn Too Sweet that Hollywood and the boys had to offer.
And you're not in core anymore, so you got the time.
Speaking of $9.99,
oh gosh,
New Japan World is also only $9.99. Sorry,
this is what we've come to.
This is what we've
going to do for the next 10 years.
And we're not even getting paid for it.
We might someday.
Soon.
They might be like, hey, look, people bought this after they watched To the Turnbuckle on Tuesdays every week from 5 to 8.
And then don't worry, folks. In the spring, we're expanding. We have big plans. We're going to do more of this because my blood pressure can take it. Mr. Napper.
Sure.
Probably.
After last week, I'm
We'll
not
see.
so sure.
Mr. Napper.
Yes, sir.
Who do you think properly owns the rights to the too sweet gesture and saying, the too sweet, all that sort of. Who does it belong to in 2021? Because they filed for it. Of course, like I said, it's famous with the Click, famous with the NWO. Everybody's done it. We do it. Back when COVID wasn't a thing, we were doing it every week.
Yeah, well, we were.
Yeah.
Who's it belong to? Who owns the rights?
I mean, if you're talking current day, I would say that the New Japan does, because they're the originators of the Bullet Club.
But they're not the originators of that gesture.
No, they're not, but the gesture is fresher with their product than it is with AEW and what it is with WWE, at least for most part. I mean, obviously, NWO was in WWE for a little while, but considering that they aren't now, I would say that New Japan probably should own the rights to that a little bit more than AEW and Kenny Omega should. Ashley Thomas laughed at us.
I know. I was just going to say that. She's digging it.
Why'd she laugh at us?
We're arguing with each other
Why'd
over
you
wrestling.
giggle?
Oh, that's probably true.
McCarthy, you are the last hope. Or else I'm going to have to go back and more and argue it.
Yay!
Who doesn't want that?
I know, right?
Who should own the rights to the too sweet gesture and say?
See, he's probably going to hate this. So, it's not like the Bang from DDP that DDP owns, because only DDP did it. As far as I'm concerned, if I was the person that made a decision on copyright laws and whether this is a yay or nay, I'd look at all of them and say, you're dumb. None of you own this, because it's been done around the world by way too many individuals. Just everybody use it. Who cares?
That's fair.
Who cares? It, like you said, the NWO used it first. Who cares? If anything, it's getting you free publicity. Who gives a crap? Who cares? Look, you gonna yell at me next? I just did it. Oh, I did it again. Like, who gives a crap?
Didn't Rhea Ripley do the crotch chop on NXT?
Well,
Probably.
but the boss of NXT is the guy that
they're
does
not going to care about
that's
that.
fair.
But
That's fair.
that's my opinion on it. Like, who gives a crap? It's a group. It's based from a group of people. How many people in the NWO did it that aren't even in wrestling anymore?
True.
Like, does it matter that much?
Well,
Now, hand television, that's a problem. But it's a hand gesture, for God's sakes.
Well, you say for God's sakes, and you're right. But am I right in saying that this has been a battle for years now?
It really has.
As
It
to
has.
who
It
the
has
hell,
been for a
who
long
the
time.
hell actually owns the rights to this gesture? Because
Are you telling me that Stone Cold owns a certain gesture
Well,
with a certain finger then?
Well, that's a good point.
well, I don't know if he owns that particular gesture because he wasn't really the quote unquote inventor. The people I consider to have invented it in wrestling, at least, is really the Click. To be honest with you, that's the first people I
That's
ever
the first people to
saw
do it.
all do it. And then and I believe because of the Click, it got extended into the NWO because obviously two members of the Click are of the founding three. And every time those founding three get together, they do it. When the rare times they're all together, they'll be doing it. Whenever they have the Hall of Fame ceremony, I'm sure they'll all be too sweetening it, brother. It is such a very it's complicated. I don't know who should own the rights to it. It depends on a few things. If Vince is going to continue to sell on it, I understand his claim. If he's like, I'll make new T-shirts and do all those things. But if you're just going to sit on the copyright for the sake of sitting on it, because screw you guys, it's mine.
Cody!
Then that's different. But if what I would do, if I'm Vince, because WWE, I haven't put it in the rundown, but we'll discuss it a little bit now, has plans to do a virtual Hall of Fame ceremony this year because of COVID, of course. And the heavy rumor is that it's going to be the 2020 class because they didn't get their
I
moment.
didn't get one, yeah.
So what I would do, if I'm Vince McMahon, I think we can meet in the middle here. Let him have it until after WrestleMania. That way he can make a new T-shirt or whatever for the NWO and Too Sweet, the whole nine. For the Hall of Fame shirts they always make every year. Yeah. And then after that, let it go, because once they're in the Hall officially, maybe someday, what more can you really do with the NWO? I guess you could do more, but realistically,
please not.
That's why I stopped him.
Never say never, brother. Never say never, brother. Get the band back together.
And
with
to
their
make
walkers and
point,
everything.
I could see
That's offensive.
that, but what is more closely associated with the NWO as far as hand gestures go? Is it this or is it for life? It's for life.
For life.
For life. Just like the Four Horsemen is this.
And that has been hand gestures with To the Turnbuckle.
This has been sign language with To the Turnbuckle.
Next week we'll add in Tourette's with that, and it'll get great.
We'll have to put that on the
on
the Bruiser Nation Productions YouTube page.
We'll see, but I thought it was interesting because of that copyright, and we will keep you updated on who ends up with what. I don't think they're going to get it, to be honest. I think that's going to go. That's mine.
It's mine.
This is my toy. You cannot have my toy.
Said it seems like a cheap way for AEW to try and get back at Vince for trying to hold on to the Rhodes name with Cody. Oh, I'm not saying, it is what it is. It's a stupid battle, but they're the guys who got it. I just think it's a cheap way to get back.
To all of you gentlemen, this whole show is a stupid battle.
That's fair.
That's definitely fair.
That's how it works.
I love that we all agreed on that.
Yeah, I don't know. All right. So, FTR, they defeated Jurassic Express, my least favorite incarnation of them, by the way.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Yeah, Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt. What do you think of this match?
So, all right. How do I say this? Aside from being able to take off a life jacket in the most hilarious of ways and taking a pretty good beatdown, I still don't really see the point of Marco Stunt. I very much like Jungle Boy, and I very much like Luchasaurus. Mm-hmm. But, in wrestling, if you can take a butt kicking, I guess you can get a pretty good job. But I've never been a supporter of Marco Stunt. I'm a supporter of Jungle Boy. I think he's a future star, for sure.
It's okay. Within due time, he'll be -1's punching bag.
Marco?
Yeah.
Yeah, he will, for sure.
He
He
better
already
be.
was.
That's also true. I was waiting for him to throw a punch. That would have been beautiful.
I don't think it's as egregious as some people think that, Cash Wheeler and Dax Hartwood wrestled them. It is what it is. It's their job. But Marco
He's
Stunt,
just a baby, though.
he's just a baby.
He's just a baby. Marco Stunt.
I know.
What do you think of this match?
It was all right. I wasn't a big fan of it, especially for the reasons that you brought up, is the fact that this is probably my most least favorite incarnation of Jurassic Express. I wish that there was somewhere for Marco Stunt to go with this, but at some point, I feel like they got to just ditch him. I don't know what else you do with this. He's just a sideshow, and the tag team of Jurassic Express with the actual incarnation of Jurassic Express could be one of the best tag teams on AEW television, but we got little Shorty McShort.
He sounds like me over there. Must be the chair.
I feel like I had a stroke.
Must be the chair.
Doing
Oh, my God.
God knows what. And it's so stupid to the point where it's like, why do we keep running this over and over and over again? Hi.
Welcome to the dark side.
And, if he brought something different to the table, too. He's not a superb technical wrestler. He's not. Mm-hmm. He's just a guy living his dream, which is fine. But, throw him on Dark or something. I don't...
But... So was that Gowan.
The needle to see. I didn't like that either.
And it sucks, especially when you have guys like the Varsity Blondes who haven't got TV.
Gowan brought something different to the table. He was hella talented for someone with his limitations.
Absolutely. What I'm saying is that just because you're living your dream, and that is and I want to make clear, I know I'm hard on Marco, but I applaud living your dream. That's what we're trying to do with this show, is live our dreams. But just because you're living your dream does not mean it's fit for you to be in anything close to a main event spot. Here's the thing: if he was AEW's R-Truth, I can't complain. R-Truth is a comedy act, right?
Yeah, but he's only done that one funny thing, and that was the life jacket on the cruise. Unlike R-Truth, who's developed.
Yeah, right. And, I mean, and humor is certainly subjective. But
look, it was funny because wasn't supposed to be.
Right. And so if that's the case, like, I'm not saying there's not a role for Marco Stunt in professional wrestling. There is. But he's a role player. Look, some people are starters, some people are bench players. His role is not as a serious wrestler to a tag team that with Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, you're talking about credible threats to FTR and credible threats to the Young Bucks and credible threats for the tag team titles every single week, every single month, every single year. Marco Stunt is the albatross of the neck of the of the Jungle Express. It just Jurassic Express. Pardon me, the English is tough. But nonetheless, he's an albatross on the neck of that tag team as far as. Again, and I understand that I take it too seriously, but it's legitimacy. And Luchasaurus, while we disagree on, say, comparisons to The Undertaker because I'm a mark, there's no denying his talent. And we have always agreed on Jungle Boy Jack Perry's talent. This team, I hate to say this because Marco seems like a hell of a guy, but it seems like his character holds them back.
It does. It really does.
It's got to go. It's got to go now.
And if he was on WWE television, that'd be one thing. Because he would probably fit there.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be a knock on WWE television.
So,
but if he was with the 24/7 championship, that would be funny.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
There you go. See, like we all said, there's a spot for him, just not the spot he's in.
Yeah, I mean,
especially for a company that tries to be sport based, that they try to be a little bit more serious. Now they have fun, they do some funny stuff, but to a company that tries to be a little bit more serious, he just doesn't fit.
So it's a tough spot. They need to develop something else for him if they want to keep him on the roster, and that's totally fine. Or maybe make his angles almost exclusive to Dark, or the second show whenever it comes, which we're not looking forward to because that means we're wrestling.
We're really not. It's too much.
I mean, I'm not looking forward to NXT Indy either, but I'm going to try to cover it.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
Yep.
It's too much wrestling.
And this is why we're probably going to 2 days in the spring.
Yeah, probably be a good idea.
Yeah. 2 days a week with you people.
We got the producer over here all stone-faced. What's going on with you?
Nothing. I'm listening.
Listening intently.
Listening intently. All right.
Doing my job.
So-
Listening to my talent.
What was that face?
All right, let's talk about a match that I did enjoy.
I don't know.
Serena Deeb retained her NWA Women's Championship. What'd you think of this match?
Dude, I thought this match was great. Even with the picture-in-picture, you could still see the talent involved. Tay Conti, for someone that isn't as versed in wrestling as a lot of people on that AEW roster, is a star. My main complaint about this one is kind of my main complaint with all of the women's matches in AEW. Have you guys ever noticed that I don't mind picture-in-picture. That's not what I'm complaining about. But when the women have picture-in-picture, the picture-in-picture ends and they go to frickin' commercial, they don't do that to the dudes. They really don't. And they did it again to Serena Deeb and Tay Conti.
Those sexist pigs.
They did it again?
Like, how are you going to, develop a women's division with editing and cuts like that? We could have used that in Jungle Boy Marco Stunts. Like, why isn't it getting used there?
Hell yeah, we could have.
Like, I just don't understand why. If you look at the overall product, it's the women that get that spot of, oh, we're just going to cut to commercials to where we've missed 3 minutes of a match that we already had to sit close to our TV to see, which picture-in-picture is it's where it's at right now. It's where the wrestling world has gone. But you can't do picture-in-picture and then 2 to 3 more minutes of commercials in the middle of a matchup.
Yeah, because I'm already making my sandwich during picture-in-picture. You don't need to rush me off like that. Yeah, because the picture-in-picture is still a commercial break. To me, I'm peeing. So, like that's the reality of it.
Depends what's going on.
Yeah,
that's going on the Patreon.
That's peeing. All right.
No, it's not, Travis.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Not that.
We will compare streams.
No, we will not.
Who's having performance issues?
don't think we'll do that either.
Welcome to the Turnbuckle. Oh, yes, sirree, Bob. Who's Bob?
I don't know.
All right.
What?
Wow, that's pretty egregious there, Steve.
Steve.
Wow.
Steve, buddy, let's not invoke the good Lord here.
Wow.
I'm already got a lot to explain. But I'll read the comment.
Go for it.
Big Stevie C says, want to be a wrestler in AEW? Go to a Bible meeting and become friends with the Young Bucks, and you too can be a pro wrestler.
It was very well delivered. I'm very impressed.
That was pretty well.
I thought that's how he kind of said. All right. I
Still think it's a little egregious.
I see, but that's why Cornette calls it all friends wrestling because
everybody's friends. Oh my God.
yeah.
Let's not be friends with people that we work with. Oh my God.
Yeah, but
the horrors. The horrors of it all.
Hold on there.
minute.
Hold on there.
Wait a minute.
Hold on. Let a fellow explain. It's there is this perception among non-AEW fans that there is, like, you can only have a big spot or have a spot if you're tight with the Young Bucks, Omega, Cody. Do you think that perception is true?
No, I don't.
Do you have any? And
I'd say there's some truth to it.
And I'm asking. I'm not debating.
I would say.
Would you say there's an example of that not being true?
Well, considering John Moxley wasn't really friends with anybody but Chris Jericho before he came to the company. He's been champion.
But Chris Jericho helped bring him to the company.
And?
That's another guy that, hey, come on over here and we'll get you a belt.
Yeah, but they've been doing that before.
I mean, that's a thing in wrestling. You bring your friends in. That's a thing in media. You bring your friends in. That's a thing at work. They encourage you to bring your friends in. Why is this an issue for professional wrestling? Oh my God, I got this friend over here that's good at wrestling.
Well,
But I don't want people to talk bad about the company, so I'm just going to leave him in freaking gyms or nowhere because of the pandemic.
I think
I am
it's
sick because people will spout this in AEW, but it's the freaking same thing in WWE. It's the same thing. The only difference is it's one person that makes the decision on who gets the push, not a group of people that makes the decision on who gets the push, like it was way back when in the independents before this giant conglomerate of the WWE bought everything.
Well, I tell you why I think that's an issue, or at least to some. I'll give you 3 letters. I'll give you 3 people. I'll give you Hulkster. I'll give you Scott, and I'll give you Big Kev. And I think they ruined it for everybody else because it was like, well, come on in here, brother. Well,
And you kind of see this in like
Travis
other
and Apple, what are
sports.
your thoughts?
Well, you kind of see this in other sports too, like especially with basketball. All these teams are joining up with star players because they're friends.
Mm-hmm.
It happens all the time in basically every form of sport.
Do you think the perception is the NWO's fault?
I would say they probably had a hand in it. Yeah, for
I
sure.
think they have the biggest hand.
But
Yeah.
that is more than likely the case. However, can we look at the type of people they are outside of wrestling? Because those 3 weren't the best people back then. They were terrible people.
Brother.
They were terrible people. Now, I don't know all their exploits now. I know they have all tried to improve themselves, so I'm not referring to any of those men right now. But when they were in the NWO and basically running WCW, they were all terrible people to everyone in that locker room.
Brother.
Everyone.
Brother Jack, dude. So, Ryan King of the Hill, what are your thoughts on that perception?
I mean, I can see where it all lies together. I mean, as Travis said, I mean, you see this in every sport. I mean, the NBA, LeBron James, he goes to teams to partner up with his best friends. So, I mean, I don't see anything necessarily wrong with it. I mean, it does seem like all the best friends in the AEW world right now are the champions. I mean, you look at it, you got Omega there, you got the Young Bucks there. So, I mean, everybody over there has a title. Darby's the only one who's really on the outside of it. But I mean, we saw Moxley get the push. He ran the AEW for a while, as McCarthy said there. So it does seem that way, but there's also room for people to join in. And
They no doubt are great athletes. There is no question about it. Look, that is, unfortunately, there are many things that the NW did that ruined it for everybody. First of all, brother, can't wait. By the way, we're going to do a special episode on the Finger Poke of Doom.
Oh dear God, don't get me started.
And I mean, when we go, with our future endeavors this spring, I want to do a special episode on the Finger Poke of Doom.
I got to do research
Because I'm going to go ahead and tell you my position now. I'm going to defend the hell out of Hulk Hogan. Why would we be surprised? But anywho, that's coming up in this spring. We will do a special review episode of the Finger Poke of Doom, brother. Just past 25 years on January 4th, ironically. Legends Night was 25 years since the Finger Poke of Doom.
Dear Lord.
So believe that or not. Kind of ironic. He said, "Don't worry, I'll be back." Anywho, let's move it along. Miro looked the best I thought he's looked in AEW. They showed some semblance of the guy when Rusev was at his absolute best and taken seriously down in NXT, and then when he first came up. And I don't mean with the Russian gimmick, but I'm talking about he was taken serious and he was a big brute. Mm-hmm. And I thought we kind of got back to that the way he should be booked with this match. Do you agree, Mr. McCarthy?
Oh, wholeheartedly, because Chuck Taylor took it to him, and he was just like, okay, I've had enough. I'm going to shut this crap down, and finished off Chucky T, and now he's his butler or young boy or whatever they do. Because it was young boy 2 weeks ago. Now it's butler. Like, apparently not enough Japanese people watch Japanese wrestling that watch AEW to get that reference.
Stevie C says, because Brandon Cutler is terrible. Do you agree with that?
I don't know that much about Brandon Cutler, and he's not on TV, so it's not like he's taking anybody's spot.
He's terrible enough to not be on TV, damn it.
There you go.
All right. Yeah, I liked this match. I thought this is the way that we hopefully, please, Tony Khan and company, stick with this because we can rebuild Miro and make him into the legit star he is. Let's get rid of the kind of the all the bleach, the leopard spot and all that. He needs to slowly not into the Bulgarian brute or anything like that. I'm talking about he should be taken seriously like a badass, like Hager, like Wardlow. He should be taken absolutely serious. Yes, there is something to be said for character diversity and able to adapt. Big Show and Kane made careers off of that when their original runs were done. But this guy needs that big push, and he should be a world champion by the end of this year. Things should be done properly, and he should be a world champion by the end of this year. I really believe that. That's how much faith I got in him. I have so much faith in him that I always felt one of my biggest, and we all know I love John Cena. One of the few times I really disagreed with John Cena was, and I don't know who booked it, who ideas it was. I don't know if he had anything to do with it or not. He should have lost at WrestleMania 31 to Rusev because this guy is a star.
Yeah, especially the entrance they gave Rusev just spoke you're winning.
Yeah.
The tank and all that stuff.
And big,
John Cena.
Big Match John said, I got a golden shovel. So.
And he even played that as he pulled it out.
Just like that.
All right, Ryan, any thoughts on this match?
I think this was the best that we've seen Miro in AEW. Looks like he's finally finding his groove. I mean, it was everything it needed to be. And now we're going to see what it's going to be with Chuck Taylor as his butler. See how that goes for the next month. But outside of that, I mean, I hope that they keep this push going because this is what we want to see out of him. It's what we wanted to see in WWE with him until, as you just mentioned, Big Match John ended all that run that he had.
You didn't have to put such negative connotation on that, Ryan, there at the end. I mean, that was just nasty how you just – I mean, that was just rude, to be quite frank with you.
Producer says boo.
That rude son of a – okay. All right. Pac, Ping Pac, whatever your name is.
Bing Bong Pac.
Defeated Eddie Kingston. This was the kickoff match of the night. What stuck out to me, and I know this is sad, but I was like, damn, Eddie Kingston needs some more flattering ring gear. because he had that pot belly working. I'm not judging size. People always think I'm judging size. Like, no, I'm not. I'm just saying I'm not a professional wrestler. Like, no, I know I'm fatter than hell. You ain't got to tell me. But I thought this was solid, but I really hate how Eddie Kingston ascended so quickly and now is falling so quickly. To me, he's a world championship contender or a TNT championship contender, and now he's back at what feels like the bottom of the line. McCarthy, any thoughts on that?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily agree with bottom of the line. He's in the middle of the feud right now. He really is. I mean, he tried to break up the Lucha Brothers.
I wouldn't disagree with you.
And now that Pac's back, they have this feud to get through before he can ascend back into the world title picture, because you're not wrong. That is where Eddie Kingston belongs. Mm-hmm. But we got to finish this feud first.
Okay. So I just got to be patient.
He's not, just like everything else in AEW, because as they've shown, their champions get like 6 to 8 months to hold that title, and that's just how it's going to be.
So what is your outlook as let's fast forward about a year. Let's fast forward to the end of the year, okay? What's your outlook for where Eddie Kingston is?
I think Eddie beats Hangman. Hangman beats Kenny. Eddie beats Hangman. Miro beats Eddie. I think that's how you book it.
All right.
Give everybody their time to be a nice 6-month champion.
Any thoughts on this one, Ryan?
At the end of the day, that's...
I mean, it was a great way to start the show. I mean, it was very physical from the get-go. I mean, we saw straight from the get-go, right when they came out, they got right into the action, and it just never really slowed down. I mean, I thought it was a good match. I'd like to see Eddie Kingston get a bigger push. I'm with you. I do feel like he's kind of fallen to the bottom of the barrel, but we'll see. Maybe McCarthy's onto something. He is our AEW genius here.
McCarthy, AEW genius. Let's not flatter the man.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that,
Let's not flatter the man. All right, we're going to talk NXT, but before we do that, we want to remind you to give us a follow at To The Buckle on Twitter. Go like our Facebook page, To The Turnbuckle. Boys, did you get the notification?
I did.
Your admins?
I did.
Your admins? So
I believe I accepted it.
So get in there and tinker and do all you do, you beautiful man, you beautiful. We're all going to make out when COVID's over. As soon as we get vaccinated, boom. Shots in arm, tons in mouth. Okay. That's good stuff right there.
I feel like that would be dangerous.
We're just seeing if the vaccine works. So, but don't forget, yes, follow us at To The Buckle. I take over every Monday night for Raw. McCarthy takes over every Wednesday night for Dynamite. I'm going to start chiming in for NXT here in a week or two.
And I make graphics.
And
it's an important part of this process, good sir.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ryan, we got to get you on the Twitter.
I know, I got to do something.
He does do a lot. I mean, he's the one that made that Bruiser Nation Productions logo up there in the top left.
Bruiser Nation, I believe they're going to acquire a wrestling podcast during the spring.
I hear they might. Those are the rumors.
We'll talk about it.
Another wrestling podcast for Bruiser Nation Productions.
Well, we had to liven the place up.
I mean, I can only do so much. The Bruce Cruz podcast is only one podcast. We need more.
So don't worry, we're gonna give it to you. We're gonna
have the red flag.
We're gonna give it to you.
And something about hockey, I think.
Probably.
What else we got?
I can do hockey.
All right.
You're busy.
I mean,
wow. I mean, it doesn't
don't
really
crush my dreams. If I want to play hockey, I'll play hockey. Maybe.
He'll play roller hockey.
We'll see.
Wow.
You boy.
Now I'm offended.
Jeez.
Roller hockey? Really?
While we
Granted, it's sled hockey, so it's not much better. But roller hockey?
While we are in that... while we're picturing roller hockey, we'd like to remind you that you're listening to Score On Air Network, and we want you to check out all the great shows. And don't forget to check out scoreonair.com. Plenty of great shows there upcoming. There's Perfect 10 sports show right there, hosted by Travis Nolan Napper. There's just plenty of great shows. Every Thursday, 4 to 6, Sports Unfiltered, hosted by the wild man himself, Deshaun Isaac. And there's nobody like Deshaun Isaac, I can promise you that. Mm-hmm. So, now that the business is taken care of, again, before we move on to NXT, I'd like to remind you, go follow us on Twitter at To The Buckle, and go give our new Facebook page a like, To The Turnbuckle. Just put that puppy up last night, it did. And we've already got over 20 likes.
Hey, all right.
And so go give us a like. We will be figuring out more exciting ways to interact with you. And in the spring, folks, that's going to become one of the exclusive homes for to the Turnbuckle. We have much coming on. We got plenty of talks. All right. That sounds great for the podcast.
Pretty serious.
Hate to edit that.
Please don't.
I won't.
Yeah.
You know how this works.
Look, it's a 3-hour show. We need all 3 hours.
Right.
Edit it down.
So let's say that live.
Edit it down. That's just ridiculous to think about. This perfection we're dropping here.
Once we get to Monday Night Raw, who knows? I might have to.
We'll be all right.
Say that now.
Look, all I can say is this. We need to just edit out the whole show for Monday Night Raw.
Like not even included at all.
It was atrocious. I hated it.
Well, then that's great, because I can't wait to tell you why I liked it.
Do you like that episode last night?
Not entirely.
I hated it.
There were parts I liked, but not the whole,
I liked
whole flipping show.
I liked Flair. I liked the playground.
We're going to NXT.
I know. I'll get there. Don't rush me. Perfection here.
Producing.
Okay. Undisputed Era defeated Brazongo in a Dusty Rhodes Tag Team first round match. Look, I love tag team wrestling. Wish Vince did. What are your thoughts on this one, Napper?
I thought this was a great. All these matches I thought were pretty great.
Yes,
This one was. This one was probably my favorite, even though the other ones were pretty good. This one was probably my favorite. I thought both these teams did really well. I'm not surprised the Undisputed Era won. I would have maybe liked to have seen Breezango get the win here, just because I'm curious what they're going to do with the Undisputed Era, because are they going to build some dissension? Are they going to break them up? There's nowhere else for them really to go. I guess if they win, then that kind of continues the storyline, so I guess I'll shut up. I enjoyed the match. It was great. Two great tag teams in NXT, and I agree with you. I wish Vince liked tag team wrestling more, because this is what we get. You know, we talk about AEW's tag team division. It's great. But I definitely like NXT's tag team division just a little bit more, because it's not as flippy.
It's also a stronger division, let's be honest.
True.
They have
absolutely.
so many more tag teams.
Right, they're not.
Like you would think that everybody's in a tag match once every week, it seems, on AEW, and they love tag team wrestling because of the Young Bucks. But the amount of talent that Vince has that has made their way through independence and overseas as a tag team is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, truly it is. And the thing about AEW's tag team division is it could be very well developed. The problem is they don't take enough time to establish it, in my opinion.
Well, they don't use psychology.
And as much as we might be pained by more wrestling to cover, you know, we talk about that for our schedule. That's why a second show is needed. Mm-hmm. Because you need 2 more hours to do. You know, we haven't really developed the partnership of Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall, and we could. Like, yes, we can put them together. We can call them the Natural Nightmares. But tell me why they care about one another.
Yeah.
Why do they give a damn about one another? There's so many throw together moments where why do I care? Why do they care?
Well, especially in that case, because, you know, you have the Nightmare family coming into AEW, and it's like, okay, Brandy makes sense, Dustin makes sense, Cody makes sense. Who's QT Marshall? Why is he involved in this family? Like, what's the dynamic?
Tell me, I understand that Vince can get too soap opera-ish, especially in the 90s. He certainly did. But there's something to be said for, here's the story, here's why you care. You know, that's like, you know, that's the reason the Brothers of Destruction are one of the greatest tag teams of all time in terms of just build, because they spent years with a feud, and so we knew their story. We knew their story together. And so that's why AEW needs another show quickly, that they really put work into and can be a Thunder-esque show. It really, again, yes, I know, more wrestling for us together. Oh, God, how are we going to do it? But it's our job, number one. Number two, look, short of somebody in the business, this is the best wrestling podcast you're ever going to hear. Period. You don't have every other view established and determined and talked about like you will on this show. You have your Kenny Omega fanboys right here. Right here. You have people that still like Goldberg right here. Hell, I love Goldberg. I'd much rather watch Goldberg for 10 minutes than Kenny Omega.
Goldberg can't even last 10 minutes, but okay.
I've just praised you. Come on now.
I can't help it.
Yes, you could. It's
The Adam Pearce fan club.
Good.
the Adam Pearce fan club.
Yeah, this guy over here.
And Ryan,
Exactly.
all right. I wish tag team wrestling were the Undisputed Era. It's time to either move to the main roster or break up. One of the two. That's the ultimatum I give all of them.
I agree.
It's time to either move to the main roster and still be Undisputed Era. I know Adam Cole can say that. Check the ratings. There needs to be lifeblood injected.
Yeah, they do. I mean, Raw really does kind of need the Undisputed Era bad.
And frankly, I think NXT needs the Undisputed Era to either break up or move on.
I think Adam Cole needs to move.
And
For sure.
we're going to talk about this. I'll make my point later. We got to get to the rest of it. MSK debuted, which formerly known as the Rascals in Impact Wrestling. Treehouse with them sometime would be all right. It'll be good. That'll be a good time.
Good time.
Don't you agree, Mr. McCarthy?
I agree.
What'd you think of their debut, Mr. McCarthy?
I mean, it's pretty good. It's hard to judge somebody on a first match,
Yeah.
but you know what?
But you
They
did for
showed that they
Goldberg, that's
belong.
for sure.
No,
No, I'm joking.
Me a few times.
I'm joking.
I mean, first match now, sure.
Yeah.
It took at least a month for me to get tired of Goldberg's stick back in the day.
All right. Okay. All right. What'd you think of their debut?
I thought their debut was good. I will say, out of all three matches, I thought this one was a little bit too much of the flippy.
Too much of the flippy.
They're very good at what they do, but it did kind of harken back to that Young Bucks kind of style,
flippy.
to where they're a little bit too flippy. Now, they did do some good psychology in the match. I thought they did it very well, with the tags and everything like that, but some of the moves, and nothing against them, that's their thing. Mm-hmm. But to me, as it went on, it just got just a tad bit too flippy for me. But I'm excited to see what they can do. They got the win, so I want to see more of them.
Yeah, it's the jury is out. How about you, Ryan?
I thought they had a really good debut. I mean, they brought a lot of energy out to the ring. I do think there was a lot of flippy, but I mean, for overall debut, I thought it was really good. I'm excited to see what they do in the rest of the tournament.
I think there's any chance they win the tournament.
No, I really don't.
Tournament, I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't.
All right. So Pete Dunne confronted the champion Finn Balor. Shut up and take my money.
I know, right? Like, please.
Period. Give me the match now, and let's do a trilogy. Let's go at best of 7. I don't give a damn. And you might say, well, why would you want to see that, Logan? Well,
Because it would be amazing.
it would
With the
work.
right guys, it works.
It works. So, what'd you think of this, and how badly are you looking forward to this match?
I can't wait for this match. Like, straight up, I want to see it over and over and over again. And one more time again.
One more time again.
And maybe throw in a couple flippies, but no bros, because apparently flips are off limits. But you can say bro as many times as you can, and it's totally fine.
And after they face off, both of these men will never be the same
Again!
I'm sick of this, bro.
I had to indulge him. I'm sorry. I've been waiting to say that.
Well, you didn't.
I've been waiting to say it.
All right. What'd you think of this match? Or what'd you think of this segment? I apologize.
I missed it. Dang it.
Segment. What do you think of the prospect of this match?
Like you said, take my money, please. Like all of it.
No.
Take all the monies. I have the monies. Please take it. Make this match happen at least 10 times.
I mean, if
would
you're
love
just
that.
giving it away to Vince, can I have some? Like, dude.
No, he already takes
All the
$9.99 out
monies.
of my bank account every single week or month.
A week?
I was gonna
What
say
are you
I can't.
paying
I'm not
for?
sure I could do that. But is there special perks?
Like, I didn't know there were tiers.
Like we vote on the Hall of Fame now.
Oh, my God.
There's been some rumors of that, but COVID kind of shut that down.
Yeah.
Thank God. I just want to pay the $99 and have it. Oh, that's just me. Any thoughts on this match, Ryan? I keep saying this match. Pardon me. This segment. I apologize.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you guys. Take my money. I'm excited to see this when it does happen. I'm with you, Logan. I want to see the best of 7 like we saw back with, Cesaro and Sheamus? I mean, let's run that back again with these two.
Just as long as they don't
Thanks
turn into tag
thanks
team
for saying
champions.
that one and not the one that made Best of Sevens famous, because we really can't talk about that one.
Yep. The only thing this is missing is I think it'd be a little bit better if McAfee was the mouthpiece for Dunn. That's the only thing.
Yeah, but maybe this will help Dunn break out of his shell a little bit more.
I hope
Give
so.
him a chance.
I hope so. NXT North American Champion Johnny Gargano defeated Dexter Lumis in a non-title match. What'd you think of this match? This was a match, boys. What'd you think, Napper?
I'm just shocked that Johnny Gargano actually got a legitimate win against legitimate talent. Nothing against Leon Ruff, but against Leon Ruff.
Why are you hating on Leon Ruff?
He should still be the champion, in my opinion.
Because
He
here's the
should be.
question: where is he?
I mean, that's
That's bad booking. That's not his fault.
yeah. You can't blame Johnny Gargano
That's
for
a
that.
that's a bad creative.
But I enjoyed the match. I thought it was really good, and I'm glad for Dexter Lumis's sake because it kind of, to a point, felt like he was starting to get into a little bit of a rut. I get it. They had a plan for him to use him kind of as a sideshow for the last 2 pay-per-views or special shows, whatever they were. But at some point, they've got to pull the trigger on him because he is a star on their roster. He is amazing. And it kind of just felt like they were using him just to kind of use him and kind of be that. I don't even know if he's a heel or a babyface, but they just had him be that, kind of creepy guy for somebody to either go over against or fall to. I'm glad they're finally taking him a little bit seriously and even though he lost, they're taking him seriously by putting him in the match.
I have to agree with you. Ryan, what were your thoughts on this one?
I thought it was a good match. I was honestly shocked that Gargano went over and he went over the way he did. Because every time I've seen Dexter Lumis, he's always went over. I mean, I haven't been able to keep up with NXT lately, so I don't know about the losing streak he might have been on. But, yeah, I mean, Lumis is a star. I'm not too big of a fan of him, so I am excited to see that Gargano.
Blue hell are you not a Dexter Lumis fan?
I don't know. Maybe because he was going after my boys there for a while. I like the Undisputed Era.
All right. Oh,
He's
just
proud of it.
I mean, that's fair.
damn proud of it, too. He's damn proud of it. I appreciate that. All righty. So, more tag team action. The Grizzled Young Veterans defeated Everrise in the Dusty Rhodes Classic. First round matchup here. So, what'd you think of this one?
I like this match, but I don't like Everrise. I don't know what it is about Everrise, but I'm just not into in as a tag team. I get it. They're loud. They're obnoxious.
Me too.
They're looking to pick right. They're looking to pick a fight. To me, it just kind of falls off the mark just a little bit. I like the Grizzly Young Veterans, but something about Everrise that I just cannot seem to get behind with the way they're being booked. Huh?
What you do?
I didn't do nothing.
I don't see the feed.
I didn't do nothing. It should be still going.
Yep. Nope.
Probably because Ryan. I don't know. It's all Ryan's fault.
Well, we'll just keep talking and who cares?
But I was happy for the Grizzly Young Veterans. I'm excited to see where that's going to go because obviously they had the story with almost getting there at the end last year. So I'm curious to see where they're going to go at story-wise with this one. I thought it was a good match. It's just, for some reason with Everrise, I cannot seem to get behind them. It just doesn't seem to work for me.
Are the Grizzled Young Veterans your pick to win this tournament?
They're my pick.
They're my I forget who all else is in it. I'd have to see who else is in it because I don't remember off the top of my head who else is in it. They would probably be in my top 3. I feel like Undisputed Era is probably the close favorite just because you know how they like to take the team that wins and usually kind of add some dissension in there. That's why I feel like they're going to go with this and add some dissension between the Undisputed Era, and there you get your breakup of the Undisputed Era.
Any thoughts on this match, Mr. King of the Hill?
I didn't pay too much attention to it, but I mean, from what I did see, it was a good match. And Grizzled Young Vets, I think they deserve to win. I mean, we saw how far they went last year, so I think they can make another.
All right, Xia Li. She got another victory this week. McCarthy, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on where this is going with Xia Li?
I think it's going for a star-making performance where she finally becomes NXT Women's Champion, because to see this evolution of this character over time has actually been kind of special. It's not something that WWE does a lot. They're taking their time with her, and I think it's very important that they do. Mm-hmm. And they're just letting it kind of organically. First we were like, what's going on? Who's this trainer person? Who's this, trainer person, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, trainer person.
It's not the word I was looking for, but that's the word we're going with.
Sure.
And it's grown gradually and organically, and we're all curious of what's next. It's not like, oh man, she's shoved down our throats already. All of a sudden she's da-da-da-da-da. It was 3 months ago she basically got kind of pulled into this, and then she was off TV for a minute, and now she's a little more ruthless. Now she's squashing people. I mean, it's a natural progression in pro wrestling, and it's nice to see that because we don't get to see it on either show. I'm not even just going to blast WWE for this. AEW has a problem sometimes with it too. Mm-hmm. They don't develop the character all the way before it's all the way out there, or they get to a certain point with the character development and then they stop it. Adam Hangman Page, because he was in character development, and now they want him to join a group again. Again. So it's not like I'm trying to just bash WWE at this point with character development and how they do things, but this is what Xia Li needs, and I think this will take her to a victory over Candice LeRae at TakeOver WrestleMania weekend, because I don't know how that's working because it's 2 nights.
There's a TakeOver on February 14th.
Fair enough. There. That's where she wins.
That's Valentine's Day.
Yep.
Daytona 500 Day.
Hey, NASCAR nerds.
Attaboy. Here we are. All right. So, Candice LeRae defeated Shotzi Blackheart. We're going to move it along here. I want to talk quickly about the ratings.
Okay.
AEW won last week's edition of the Wednesday Night Wars with 762,000. NXT's 551. AEW had a 0.30 in the 1849. NXT had just a 0.14. This is why I think there needs to be some sort of change with the Undisputed Era, whether that be go to the main roster or break up down below. Because, and again, I want to stress that I don't think world permitting, I don't think that ratings really mean a lot until starting again next week. Tomorrow's the inauguration. That's going to take up a lot of coverage for obvious reasons. But 551, that's they only had numbers comparable to that during the pandemic at the start when they were trying to figure out production for everything. Yeah. They had those couple of virtual studio shows. And I think as low as they got was 514. This was a live wrestling show with great tag team action.
Yeah.
And that's what they got. I'm not saying they should beat AEW or anything like that. This isn't my homerism speaking. It's what can NXT do to get out of this mud that they're obviously in as far as viewership wise. Not talking from our little fun we have with the AEW NXT war, which I love to have fun with. Go NXT, unless they sign CM Punk, in which the case to hell was all that. So, any ideas as to what NXT can do, or that we might see them do, to try to drum up a little interest when it comes to viewership? Because I don't think they can be happy at 551. I think anytime you crack below 6, it should be probably below 7, but I'll cut them a rate. Anytime below 6, you kind of go, what the hell happened? So, Mr. Napper, I want your thoughts. What is lacking for NXT to have, not talk about beating AEW or even being close, but why is there suddenly such big divide where it used to be they were pretty similar numbers within 50,000 or so?
Usually pretty close.
Yeah.
I'll go back to a comment I heard from Bully Ray once that said They were talking about NXT and AEW on their podcast, and the biggest issue with NXT is while they're technically sound and probably the more technically sound of the two brands, they're not as entertaining. And it's probably just because, for the most part, it is just wrestling to wall wrestling. AEW is pretty close to that, but there's still some hocus pocus, funky monkey stuff. I lost my train of thought.
Tomfoolery?
Tomfoolery.
Shenanigans.
You're welcome.
Lost my train of thought. Big time. But yeah, there's not as much tomfoolery, there's not as much shenanigans on NXT as there is on AEW. And that's, I think, why they're kind of losing track. Is because, yeah, they're giving the hardcore wrestling fans that love to watch just straight up wrestling a great product. But they're not really adding too much substance to it besides that.
Scary thought, but with your explanation, it deserves the question. Does it need a little bit more Vince-style booking, which tells a bit more of a story?
I would say a little.
I don't
not
think
a lot. But
I
a
don't
little.
think so. They tell, if you look at it, they tell really good stories. They just it's been a lull in their storytelling recently, but like if you look at the examples, when the Undisputed Era first started and they got Roderick Strong into it, that was a good story. When Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano finally stopped being friends, that was a good story. Mm-hmm. Their story to the tag team titles, that was a good story. They're just in a lull right now, and I think a big part of the issue with NXT, especially last week, Vince McMahon, we all know, doesn't like tag team wrestling, and that shows in his product. So even with the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, I actually expected NXT to win in the ratings this week because of the Tag Team Classic.
I thought so.
But it just kind of shows you that Vince has beaten tag team wrestling down so much in his company and made it seem so much less important unless you're the New Day or the Undisputed Era, that people aren't tuning in for it because it's the point of the show for the next couple of weeks.
But wouldn't that make them tune in?
You would think so, but I mean, right now you're getting the WWE loyalists at this point.
Yeah.
That, the casual fan over here is tuning into AEW for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. Their loyalists are there. The loyalists are probably about the same, I would say. But the casual fans are what's hopping over to AEW.
Right.
And it could very well be the gimmicks that you guys don't like, that the new age wrestling fans enjoy, like the Orange Cassidys.
Boy, if that's where we're heading.
I'm just saying, right. I don't care. Like, you guys don't have to like everybody that I like. I think it's funny and
don't worry, I'm doing a good job of that.
But I think they've lost, since I brought it up, they've kind of lost their way with Orange Cassidy, like you alluded to earlier. They were pushing him, and then all of a sudden he lost to Chris Jericho.
He's kind of back where he is.
Yeah, he beat Chris Jericho, and now he's just kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
And he's a damn good wrestler, and that's the problem.
And he look, and as much as I don't care for his style, he does what I always argue about with Goldberg and Hogan. He sells T-shirts. He sells merch.
He does.
I mean, he's like,
and I thought they had it figured out.
If it wasn't for, unfortunately, God rest his soul and praise in a better place, if it wasn't for Brody Lee passing, Orange Cassidy was going to sell the most T-shirts of anybody on the AEW roster this year.
Oh, for sure. I got 2 coming.
Right. And then Brody Lee, the memorial shirt, outsold Orange Cassidy. So Orange Cassidy was number 2. Number 1, if you, unfortunately, don't want to count Brody Lee's untimely passing. So as much as it's not my flavor, it does what I always say, which was, are you selling merch? Are you selling tickets? Are you making money? He certainly is.
And seats. I guess they would be doing that at this point.
Well, they are.
He was. I mean, kids are dressing up like Orange Cassidy back when there were fans.
And so as much as it's not my flavor, and I'll continue to rail against it in terms of not liking it, I won't dispute the fact that it's drawn, that it works. What about you, Ryan? What does NXT need to do to get? You're kind of a casual guy in some ways, at least when it comes to the NXT and AEW products. What do they need to do? What do they need to do to garner some interest?
I mean, I think one of the biggest issues is like as we talk about the casual fan jumping over to AEW is because we see what happens on Monday Night Raw. I mean, we're going to talk about that here soon, but I mean, it's not good product. So people are like, wow, if that's what they're putting out for their top show, I don't want to tune into what's supposed to be their third show or their not even main roster show. So, I mean, we go to AEW to watch that because it's supposed to be the top show. So I think it's less what NXT has to do. It's just what's around them with Raw and SmackDown until that stuff gets beefed up. I think Vince is losing his casual fan, and it's not good for him right now. Besides the fact that they see their top stars on NXT usually move up to the main roster. So that doesn't help.
Well, we'll see. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take our final break. We're going to take our final break right here on To the Turnbuckle. And when we come back, it's time to talk about a very disfigured Monday Night Raw. 3 hours worth. I thought we took a big step back this week, Monday Night Raw, for the low standards I have. I thought we took a serious step back this week. I will tell you why when we come back right here on To the Turnbuckle, presented by Gnarly Napper. Who the hell is this presented by?
I believe it is Mojo Sports Gear.
Mojo Sports Gear, you damn right. We'll be right back. Let me go ahead and just get her going there.
Almost there.
A disfigured Randy Orton sent a fiery message to the Fiend is how WWE described this promo to kick off. And I thought this was absolutely dreadful. I thought this was one of the worst segments of I thought this was one of the worst segments of Randy Orton's career. He looked like Mr. Wrestling 2. It was just awful. It was a complete joke. And my biggest issue with it, though, is not the stupid-looking mask. It was that if you're going to cut a promo sinister and slow like that, don't have it last 15 minutes. Guess what? When The Undertaker makes a rare appearance and he cuts a promo, right? Do they last? And, he talks slow and he's the dead man, right? And it's slow, long, and maybe boring to some. It doesn't take 15 minutes. It's a quick 2 to 3 minutes. Here's what I got to say. I'm out. Ain't getting paid by the hour. And I'm not trying to compare Randy Orton to The Undertaker, but I'm talking about it was that kind of similar style of pause, 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 pause. This is taking forever. I could have made a sandwich and enjoyed this a whole lot more. Anywho, this was dreadful, and I don't know who came up with this. Well, I know who approved it. But I cannot believe that Randy Orton, a guy that's well known to say to Vince, hey, this is dumb. And he usually listens to Randy Orton out of respect. Didn't say, hey, Vince, this is really dumb. Number one, if you had first-degree burns, you're not wearing a mask. It's first-degree burns. Not to say they're not serious, so let's break some alloy off a plant there and just rub it on the face.
Basically what a sunburn is first-degree burns.
And so either, number one, up it to second degree for the sake of kayfabe, or take off the stupid-ass mask. Number two, again, my big complaint, far too long. 15 minutes for him to wax pro-act about how this is really the Fiend's fault. Thank you, Sherlock Holmes on the case. This was pitiful. This is something that, for the great year or so that Randy Orton has had, this was everything it wasn't.
Yep.
It is one of the low marks of Randy Orton's entire career. And I saw a lot of people saying that it was a good promo and a good way to kick off Raw. I saw that a lot. And I thought, wow, hanging out with Snoop.
That's the best. So I think it would have been a good promo had they recalled that there's not a live crowd. No, the pausing in pro wrestling is so the crowd can react. There isn't a crowd to react on WWE television. Why are you pausing over and over and over again? Aside from the fact that it was 15 minutes long, you're pausing for no reason. They could have made that a 6-minute promo, and it probably would have been better.
It would have landed better for me.
But then, you're factoring in the long pauses for the crowd to react when there's no crowd. Which made it a 15-minute promo. You just let him talk. Because they didn't do that with Edge's promos.
Right.
when he was trying to come back to defeat Randy Orton and then had that really dark turn promo and the same kind of similar
But it was like 2 minutes.
ambiance.
It was like,
yeah, it was like 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
And he was done.
And because the biggest thing I compare it to is how often do we get a Taker promo whenever he comes back? You know, that's kind of old school-esque and purple lighting. And you know what he does? He talks for the entrance takes 15. He talks for like 3. He says whatever he's got to say. When the Reaper calls your name, you will, and then that's it. Ball game. I ain't got time. Like, how short are Taker Deadman promos? Very short.
Very long.
He ain't here. He ain't getting paid by the hour, folks. He flew in. Time to go back to Texas. So that was my biggest complaint. Napper, what were your thoughts on it? Because I feel like you might feel differently.
I do, absolutely.
Well, that's all right.
The first thing is, I will agree, it was too long. That I will agree with that. But I will not say that this was the low point of his career because I thought it was actually one of the better points of his career. Now, obviously, it went a little too long, so that's partially the issue.
Uh-huh.
But everybody was making a big deal of the mask and everything like that. And I understand what you're saying with the first-degree burns. I guarantee most people don't even really know that. So they were probably not even caring.
Mr. Wrestling 2.
Travis is so fired up right now. He's
I am.
shaking the computer, and I love it.
No, I loved it. I really did enjoy the promo because while it was long, it kind of you mentioned Undertaker. I got one different. Mankind. This to me screamed a boiler promo from Mankind, and I think that's why you saw a lot of people that enjoyed it is because it was that kind of slow, sinister promo. Yeah, Undertaker gave those promos as well, but the disfigurement and the pain that he's feeling from the fire and everything like that, to me it was almost like a Mankind promo. I thought that's why it resonated so much with at least the hardcore fans because you got that vibe with his face covered up like that and the way that he was speaking. Now, I will say, going back and going through the entire reason we're here was kind of dumb. I didn't like that. I kind of get why they maybe did it, just to kind of catch people up, maybe if they've not been paying attention for a couple of weeks. But you made
Apparently with the ratings, that has been kind of the case.
Well, yeah. But with the promo going 15 minutes long, you did kind of miss the mark on that. But I didn't think the promo itself was bad. It's just it went a little long. But to say that it was a low point of his career and possibly the lowest, I completely disagree because I thought he delivered it so well that it almost didn't matter. Had they shortened it a little bit, it would have been perfect, like you guys said.
Well, it's not the low point. But to me, it's top 5. I can't tell you how much I hated it. And look, while we're not necessarily like former Loganity member Styles, the Vibes God, we all know that I'm a Randy Orton fan. Like that's not a secret. I've made that happen. Like he's a protege of Ric Flair, and if you're associated with Flair in any way, I'm probably going to justify things I shouldn't for you. It's not that it's his worst. It's that I thought it was atrocious. I just have no compliments to the segment whatsoever, and but again, I understand that it was well received. So to a lot of people, so I guess in many ways it hit the mark. To hell with me. It's not like I'm tuning out anyway. It is what it is. All right, Ryan.
I was with you, Logan. I didn't really care for it. Napper sold me a little bit on it. Napper sold me a little bit more on it right there, but I'm still with you. I didn't care for the segment. Honestly, I wish they would have kept Orton off for 1 week at least to try and sell the injuries a little bit more. I mean, we didn't want the Fiend to come back so soon because, I mean, he got burned alive in the ring. We don't want to see him yet. We want to at least let the story play itself out. So obviously, Alexa was off doing her own thing for the rest of the show, so Orton could have used a week off here to sell this a little bit more than what he did. The mask was just, it was absurd. I didn't need it. So I didn't like it.
I'm proud of you, buddy. Proud of you. All right, final thought on this whole Randy Orton situation before we move it along. Are we not getting Randy Orton versus the Fiend of the Rumble?
It doesn't look that way.
It doesn't look like that. But
I know. What are we doing?
But he makes his return at the Rumble.
Well, sure,
Who,
but
Edge?
No.
I know who you're talking about, the Fiend.
yeah, but then what are we doing with Edge?
a good question.
Because Edge is a part-timer now. He's back. He's like Goldberg. He's back.
Does he win the Rumble?
I'm saying, what do we do?
Have him face Drew and say
Edge?
Yeah, sure.
Why?
Because he disrespected the legends.
Oh my God! I think Edge would look at Vince and call him crazy if he asked Edge to say anything like that.
And then Edge would be given millions of dollars and would say, "Okay, what do I have to do again?"
I don't think he would because he's already under contract. So what's he gonna do?
I just don't. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it.
If he
But
wins,
at
he
the
wins
same
the
time,
Rumble and then wrestles Drew. That makes sense.
At the same time, maybe that's a good thing because we don't know. That's something that we have not gotten a lot in wrestling. I think that's a good thing. If we don't know what's going to happen, perfect. I'm fine with that. It does beg the question, though. They have so many of these storylines. What do you do with them? That's the only downside to that.
I am too, but how do you tie up all these loose ends between now and Mania? It's not that far off, because
probably
these are things we have to think about. Think about this. When it comes to Mania, you're talking about part-timers like Goldberg, Edge, John Cena, potentially maybe The Undertaker, Triple H. How do you get those guys, like I said, maybe not Taker this year, we'll see what happens, but how do you get those guys involved in anything when you know they're going to be part of the show, especially because it's going to be the first show probably with an actual crowd for the better part of a year. Like, Vince is going to want to go big.
Yeah.
How do you get those guys? I just listed off 4 or 5 part-timers there.
One night and Edge on the other.
So I just listed off 4 or 5 part-timers. Where the hell do they fit?
Nowhere.
But they're going to be there.
Yeah.
More than likely.
Am I right on that? So, yeah, we'll see what happens. All right. Let's talk about Alexa Bliss and what she did on Monday Night Raw.
Yay!
What do you think of the new transforming Alexa Bliss after her playground, and then all of a sudden she can just turn into a different character, and she's got split personality, and where the hell, what?
I mean, it fits with the Fiend story.
It really does.
I'm not mad at
It
it.
fits, and I like it actually. Like it gives us another
Oh, it gives me
view
something.
of Alexa Bliss and her undeniable talent.
Absolutely.
Woo, Hilliard.
Is she?
That's where she's from.
Is she the
So I was
next?
like, what?
Look, she's got to be the next Raw Women's Champion.
I thought she was from Columbus.
Hilliard.
I mean,
It's a suburb.
it's a suburb of Columbus, sir.
Yeah.
Let's go. Get it together.
He's from Whitehall.
Geography.
He's from
I
White.
failed that class.
He's from Whitehall, but if a guy from New Jersey asks him where you're from, he says Columbus because we don't have to go suburb of Columbus.
Exactly.
I mean, we're not in Idaho.
I live in Obetz, but I
Don't
tell
call
people,
me that.
But
Thank you.
let's watch the language, please. Let's watch the language.
I try.
All right, buddy. I don't.
Juvenile.
So, what do you think of this new twist of Alexa Bliss? Is she the next Raw Women's Champion? Starting with you, McCarthy.
I think you almost have to make her the next Raw Women's Champion because they haven't. Obviously, Asuka's been champion for 6-7 months at this point,
On and off.
she has. I mean, you go on and off; it's like 11.
Yeah.
But like they haven't had her wrestle anybody in like 4 months for the title, like legitimately wrestle at a pay-per-view for the title in months. There's no dissension between her and Charlotte Flair because they don't even wrestle together, and they're the women's tag team champions. So you can't create dissension there. So there goes that title match.
That
So
could change.
How is Rick gonna get in her head too?
like,
No, but they had the women's tag team Dusty Classic. Does the winner of that get?
I certainly
they-
hope
Team
the
ta-
winner gets a
They
title,
damn-
but that's one match.
They
Like
damn sure should because
Yeah.
frankly the creative team doesn't care about the tag team titles under these two. Charlotte is suddenly feuding with her father, which I'm fine with. But why do it while she's the champ? And then Asuka is off with Bliss. It makes no earthly sense. Is Ric Flair about to be a women's tag team champion? Is that where we're heading here? Obviously, I'm joking.
Are you though?
Ryan, maybe. Ryan, what are your thoughts?
I know you would justify it, but I think they got to get the titles off of Flair and Asuka as soon as possible because obviously we don't even see those two together, so it makes no sense for them to have the title. But as for Alexa, I mean, I would love to see Alexa be the next Raw Women's Champion. I think last night her character was probably the highlight of the whole show. So, I mean, Alexa looked dominant in that spot. I think she could easily go on to win the Rumble and save that match for WrestleMania with Bliss and Asuka again.
I'll tell you what I think happened. I think that Vince or whoever saw a good saw a nice rating for Raw Legends Night. You know, they cracked over 2 million for the first time in ages regularly on Legends Night, and they were like, well, apparently, and maybe Flair's segment got good quarterly. I don't know, but I think they saw a good rating and said, well, apparently people still like so and so, and which I've said forever, duh. And because you can't really do it with Hogan because he's kind of damaged goods for a lot of reasons. You can't really have. I mean, I would be fine if he was back weekly, brother, but it's obvious why they kind of choose Flair over Hogan in this stage. Yeah. Not due to ability, but just due to personal demons and history and politics. And so that's what I don't know. Maybe that was always the plan for Flair to come back full time. But I think they saw a number and went, well, apparently Legends still have some ability to draw, which I've said forever. But they should start watching this show. Yeah. All right. The Dirt Sheet welcomed not Goldberg, as was advertised. The Dirt Sheet welcomed a returning Gilberg. Before I pay him this segment, because I'm going to, I do just want to say quickly and get this out of the way that as much as this was bad and goes back to the worst parts of the Attitude Era, Dwayne Gilberg had a heart attack in September. So great to see that he is well enough to be Gilbert and come to Florida and do that segment, as bad and corny as it was. So I want to point that out. Great to see that he is recovering well and is able to be that character again, for better or worse, as far as quality goes.
He did it pretty well.
I was very surprised to see Gilbert for number one. I didn't really think that Goldberg was going to be on the Dirt Sheet. They didn't advertise it beforehand, and you know when they like to advertise when someone of that caliber is going to show up, obviously to hopefully pop the rating a little bit. Didn't expect Gilbert because we all know how Bill feels about Dwayne. He's not very thrilled about Gilbert. He finds that to be very insulting because Bill's a sensitive fellow. And so very weird when Bill is in the good graces of the WWE, and yet they brought back the guy that we were making fun of him for.
But wait, there's more.
And then there was a phony Drew McIntyre played by a world-famous actor, to be honest with you. He's been in quite a few parts. I'll give him credit for booking that, like getting him to come on in.
Yeah, I mean, you got that gives him something. Give Bernard from the Santa Claus. Thank you, Hot Wheels, for that tidbit of information.
I will.
Got you.
I will say that. Props to them for getting a legit actor. Usually it's some independent wrestler that. So.
I didn't even realize it was him at first.
So let me ask you, McCarthy. Goldberg is different now than he used to be. He's a better man overall. He still has some quirks that he takes himself very seriously, but overall he's better now than he used to be, right?
I would assume.
Well, based on interviews that you've seen, yeah. Do you think he's going to be displeased that Goldberg revived, and I mean Bill the person, not Goldberg the character. Do you think Bill is now on some sort of bad footing with WWE because of Gilbert's return?
I'd like to think that he's gotten past all that.
Maybe.
I'd like to give him credit for that, but I highly doubt it. He probably is not happy because, oh my God, I'm the almighty Goldberg. How could you do this to me?
Because
that's how impression. It sounds.
Because Goldberg has always said that, with Bret Hart, he has issues with due to the kick, right? The concussion.
Mm-hmm. Right.
He's always said it was an accident, and he goes, believe me, if I wanted him to not get up, I could have made that happen. Goldberg is testy. Bill's an interesting individual. He's an intense individual, and it shows. That's all. But part of that was his success. That's why he was successful, is the fact that intensity that he comes out with is not really a character. He is that intense. I don't know how his heart takes it. I don't. Because he is jacked up all the time.
Yeah, I know, right?
There's his head.
There's only one other wrestler I've ever known to kind of be that way, and that was Warrior. Warrior was very intense all the time.
We know why he was intense. I won't go into details, but we all know. We know why.
But even post being Ultimate Warrior as a man, Jim Hellwig, of course, he had his name changed to Warrior, as a motivational speaker, was very passionate and always just, he said, in the Warrior said, I'm not a big Ultimate Warrior wrestling fan. I'm not at all. I'm a big fan of Warrior the Man. Because he said, and I'll take out the expletives, he said, I'm passionate about passion. He said, I'm waking up every day and I want to feel alive. And there's some guys that are that way, and I think that helped Ultimate Warrior, because that's who he was, as far as, now some of the very erratic promos were caused to obvious other reasons, but I mean, as far as just, I take this real serious, you should too, that, they don't need to be more of their style of doing it, but it needs to be more of that in wrestling, that it's not all fun and games. There needs to be a fine line between a Goldberg and a Young Bucks.
Yeah.
There needs to be somewhere in between. Mm-hmm. We have to find somewhere, if we get somewhere in between, we are in good shape. Because people like Goldberg, and I blame, to be honest with you, I blame Hulk Hogan for this. He came up with Hulkster, and he was like, well, damn, this guy is on top, and he's undercutting everybody. And that's because, keep in mind, Goldberg didn't start wrestling until the power plant. So he literally came up and was essentially mentored, for lack of a better term, by the Hulkster. And unfortunately, Terry Bollea, my main man, what you going to do, brother, was at his worst as an individual, especially as far as backstage politics go, during those days. So I think he was like, well, they had to, because, Hogan was very paranoid. Always like, someone's coming for me, my spot. He still is to some degree.
Very much so.
And so I think Bill heard all that, because he wasn't in any other wrestling company. That rubbed off. You don't want to get screwed. You don't want to be Flair. You don't want to be this. You don't want to be that. It's interesting.
And to give him some credit, the only time that I can think of when he came to WWE to begin with, that it didn't seem like he was treated that way, was his feud with Chris.
Yeah.
That was the only time that you didn't feel like
he was second fiddle.
Yeah. Jericho made him a star again. Because he, got fed to Triple H, got fed to everybody.
That Jericho feud is the only true highlight of that first run.
Man,
really.
That feud is amazing.
And so
that match still holds up too. And it was only like 10 minutes, but that match still holds up to this day.
And so it's complicated in the sense of you need someone that I've always appreciated Goldberg's seriousness. He takes it too far, no doubt about it. Dwayne Gill shouldn't bother you. Imitation is the highest form of flattery. That's a classic.
And another point, I think, yes, the kick to Brett hurt Brett's career forever. It ended it.
Yeah, essentially.
Part of that's on Goldberg. Mm-hmm. Part of that is on WCW, because he wasn't in the power plant truly long enough to learn how to do that correctly.
Exactly.
And I think that was very detrimental to Goldberg, because you saw what he did with Chris Jericho. Was someone that's a ring general that knows how to work. That match is good. Had he had a chance to do that with Brett, if Brett wouldn't got kicked in the face, we could be having totally different conversations about Goldberg right now.
Good.
Because that feud was legit. Brett was using his brain. He had that metal plate for when Goldberg came out to spear him. That was a good feud. It was building to something. And I think he could have got over a lot of that selfishness. I don't want to lose my spot. This is Hogan did it. This is how I'm going to do it. If he would have been able to work with guys like Brett.
And not so much now at 54, but he was a good enough athlete back then that he could have learned the craft and been, I'm not going to say the next Bret Hart. No. But certainly he could have been better than what he turned out to be as far as pure working goes, but he was rushed up. But we will move it along. We'll see what happens. My final thought on that segment is no more of those segments, for God's sake. They weren't fun in 97. They weren't fun in 98. It's not about not Gilbert thing. It was cool to see Gilbert because I knew he was having health issues. But I mean in terms of this is why people are embarrassed sometimes to watch the product. For these segments here, can you imagine somebody that isn't a wrestling fan or used to be a wrestling fan, back in the NWA days, tuning in and seeing that?
Oh, they'd freak that. They'd flip the channel. They wouldn't even freak out. They'd be like, oh, yeah, that's why I don't watch this anymore. Click.
Yep.
Especially when you find out Bernard was the phony McIntyre.
And the only guy that finds that funny is Vince, and I don't understand why he finds that funny. It undercuts his goals because he always wants to be treated as a more mainstream product. Well, that segment hurts your mainstream appeal, and I don't mean in terms of sport-based, but I mean in terms of ESPN covering you or Coca-Cola wanting to sponsor you. They don't want that. Nope. Nobody wants that. You can be PG all you want to be, but let's not be absolutely ridiculous, and that's what this was. And it was a waste of time and talent and, frankly, safety given the COVID pandemic. It was absolutely disgraceful. There was no reason to even continue to talk about it. I'm going to move on. Goldberg, the actual one, will be on next week. We'll talk more about him then. But good to see Gilbert doing well after his health struggles. Okay, Hurt Business. Far too early for this dissension, people.
I think we talked about that last
Far
week,
too early.
I feel like we're going to be talking about that for like weeks.
They're not even off the ground.
They're really not. They just got titles. Like, they're not.
Evolution had 2 to 3 full years before we had a sniff of problems. And hell, even that continued after their problems for like another 6 months.
Well, and the weird thing is they're having problems but winning.
And
like, where do we go? I mean, I guess.
But it hasn't in the Hurt Business.
Right.
It's like backwards as hell.
It makes no sense to me. Any thought, anybody, are we really going to the breakup of the Hurt Business this quickly?
They better not.
But it looks like it.
I really actually don't think they are.
Then what's happening? Give me your prediction.
I don't know what's happening, but I don't think it's that. I feel like they're going to, at some point, have kind of like what you're seeing with the Inner Circle. Now, at some point, they probably will break up like we think the Inner Circle will.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that's where this is headed. They're going to have some kind of, kerfluffle.
A nice Donnybrook, yeah.
Yeah, good Donnybrook.
Nice Donnybrook.
Great show. But I think that you're going to see Cedric and you're going to see Shelton have a fight. They're going to try to work this out. You're going to see MVP try to orchestrate that for at least a couple weeks. Then maybe you get a breakup, or maybe they come back stronger than ever. But I don't feel like this is headed just yet for a breakup. I feel like they're going to try to spread this out a little bit and make it a little bit further down the road before they really pull the trigger on it.
All right, we'll move it along here. Charlotte Flair defeated Peyton Royce. I wanted to, after a very interesting start last week to this new Flair versus Flair feud, they took a step back this week. I don't understand why Lacey Evans was cutting off Ric Flair when he's Ric Flair. If he wants to cut I know in story, of course, but like if he's your new sugar daddy, wouldn't you let sugar daddy talk? Makes no sense to me. It's quickly time to figure out and let Flair tell the story as best he can at this stage. It's time to let him be. If you're going to bring him back on TV, it's time to let him trust him. Time to let the old guy float out there because it's time for him to explain why he's doing this. Without it, what are we doing? Because we know why Lacey Evans has got a flirtation with the Nature Boy. Welcome to the club. And Charlotte, of course, is like, you're far from the first floozy to want to be with my father. It won't be the last.
Not even the second.
Or the third.
And so the one guy
run out of fingers.
The one guy we haven't heard from is wrestling's like OG loudmouth, the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Don't you think next week or so is the time for him to, as best he can? I know Vince gets queasy letting him have live microphones these days because you just never know what he's going to do. Isn't it time to let Ric Flair have the mic and let him go be Ric Flair and explain his issue with his daughter?
I think they really need that because it's not hard.
Yeah.
He's tired of being overshadowed by his daughter. He's the Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Uh-huh.
Like, come on. Like, it's not a hard story to tell.
Yeah. And he could say, look, I spoiled you. I was wrong. We're going to teach you a lesson. And he could cut one hell of a promo on.
He needs to take that road back.
On what he's doing with Lacey Evans. What is their relationship exactly? Is it an intimate relationship? Is it a mentor relationship? Is it both of them? Is somebody else involved?
Well, and the interesting thing too with all this is this was brought up as maybe this was a botch that they've turned into a storyline. So it could be they're panicking because they didn't have a story for this, because this wasn't the original story that they were trying to go with, and so they don't know what to do with it.
See, I don't buy that rumor because if it was another legend, I would buy it. But Flair has been on TV enough recently that, like, I don't think he's going to screw that up. Now,
And he hasn't really messed up physically. He's only messed up a little bit verbally.
Yeah, so he's pretty understanding of here's how this is going to go as far as our end result. He may take a different path there than you want him to, but he's not going to screw up an end result. Like, that's the ultimate no-no for a guy of his era. You're not going to screw up the end result. So I just don't see it. Now, if it was somebody that isn't on TV and hadn't been on in years, oh, crap, I had a brain fart out there. But Flair has been he was a staple of 2020 television with the Randy Orton feud. But
also, like, if you look at it, there's got to be, it can't just be, oh, I want to be with Lacey Evans, so I turned on my daughter.
Yeah.
Because she was wrestling Peyton Royce last night. What does that have to do with Lacey Evans? At the end of the day, this has to come down to Ric Flair's hubris and not wanting another Flair to be above him. It has to be. Like, where else can you go with this? Because he came out during the Peyton Royce match, there's nowhere else to go.
absolutely.
So using big words.
Do you agree?
It's fun.
Final thought, and then we'll move it down the line because I got a question for all you guys. It's a very important answer. But final thought here is next week the week we get Ric Flair explaining why he's doing what he's doing.
I certainly hope so.
I think you get one more week before you figure it out.
Oh, Lordy. Okay. So Mace defeated Xavier Woods. I'm not taking the time on that. Sorry. Don't care. AJ Styles defeated Ricochet. Good match, but it should have been built better and those things.
Well, it's the same thing with AJ Styles. Like, why are we putting AJ Styles in all these random matches for no reason whatsoever?
Because AJ Styles is the best worker in the company, and they don't have a plan for him.
That's fair.
That's just disgraceful.
It is disgraceful. And, like, you know what else is disgraceful?
Go ahead.
I remember when you had to earn your way into the Royal Rumble. Now it's just like, I'm in the Royal Rumble. Look, guys, I'm going to be on TV. I'm in the Royal Rumble. I'm announcing it right now.
You're in the Rumble?
I'm in the Rumble.
Cool.
I am in the Rumble.
We'll be there live.
Yes, we will. Live in the Thunderdome.
I wonder if Travis O'Connor's going to be in the Rumble, too.
You know what? I heard that he has said he will be in the Rumble as well. That'll be some Ethan Page type stuff over there.
I want to close the show by asking you guys two questions. Number one, do you think it's possible to pull off a virtual Hall of Fame ceremony?
I don't see why not.
Can
They're just at their houses.
Can they properly do a virtual Hall of Fame ceremony as is planned?
Oh, absolutely.
Or rumored? What do you think, Ryan? Can they?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, WWE, they've made everything they are with COVID, with Raw and SmackDown.
All right. Let's do it, brother. Okay. Final question. Final talk. And we're heading home. What's the deal with Ricochet's contract? Some say it's coming up in 21. Some say sign a new deal. It'll be up in 24. What rumor do you buy? Have you seen these rumors?
I haven't seen them, but
I have an
opinion.
So, Napper, what rumor do you buy? Is his contract, has he extended? Is he in until 24? Or is he coming up in 21?
I think he's up till 24 because we've seen this rumor pass around quite a few times with a couple of other different wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
And then we find out that they signed a multi-year deal and they're actually got like 3 or more years left on their contract.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it happened the same thing with Adam Cole. They said he was a disgruntled, that he was going to want to leave, that he was, going to get released or something. Turned out he has like 2 or 3 years left on his contract because they were rumoring that he wanted to work with Britt Baker. And, obviously I don't blame the guy if he really wants to.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that at this point, they're rumors just to be rumors. I will not believe very many of these rumors anymore, just for the simple fact that the last couple ones that they've come out with haven't really been true.
All right. McCarthy, what are your thoughts?
I almost think the way he's being booked, this year is his last year under contract, and he doesn't want to sign again.
It needs to be.
Because say what you will about the Adam Cole rumors, at least he was still continually booked strong, regardless of what the rumor was, whether he wanted to go work with Britt Baker or not. He was booked strong. He was given a reason to stay. They haven't given Ricochet a reason to stay.
Yeah, that's true.
I
think Ricochet would be a great, piece to the Impact puzzle. Or maybe head over to Japan. Like, he needs a change of scenery badly.
Yeah, Ricochet and WWE has just not worked out.
It's not.
His one highlight is, and it's not even a highlight, was losing to Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship at Super Showdown. Yeah. And that was a 5-minute match. I just think that it's been an abject failure, and it's a waste of his athletic ability, and it's a waste of Vince's money. Doesn't benefit either company.
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't benefit either one. Impact would use him, I think, properly. I think AEW would really benefit from him again.
I think so too, but I think Impact or Japan would be maybe the best place.
And I think he could potentially become the top face of a Ring of Honor.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
And so I think there's plenty there. It's time for both parties to.
I'm thinking Impact just because he could go to war with Moose. Like, I don't know if anybody saw, but dang. Moose can do one hell of a Spanish fly, man. I did not see that coming.
Moose can absolutely work. And, again, if you're wondering why we haven't covered Hard to Kill, again, more time constraints. But, again, in the spring, we do have some plans to expand. So we're going to give you more coverage of Impact Wrestling, though, with that horrible edit of Karate Man. And that's...
He was so mad.
That's not something I want to cover. Ryan, what are your thoughts on Ricochet?
I hope that he is leaving because, as you guys said, this deal with him and WWE just isn't working out. I mean, Ricochet is an extremely talented guy, and he can take over any other promotion that he could have the ability to go to. So I think they're just wasting him, and Vince is wasting money on someone who is extremely talented. And I just hope that he is done because I like Ricochet, and the booking has been awful with him. So I hope he's gone, but I wouldn't be surprised if Vince somehow keeps him.
You do never say never about Vince. We all know he loves to hoard talent.
Either he's to be gone or back to NXT.
Well, the rumor is he's not trying to hoard talent right now because he's still losing money.
Yeah.
But I mean, there is something to be said to be kept around to put guys over. But at this point, Ricochet's been beaten down so far down the card. It doesn't matter if you beat him or not. It's not going to get anybody anywhere.
Well, you'll have to let us know what you think, Loganites. And with that, we are just about out of time. And so when we come back next week, Goldberg is going to be on Raw Monday. So we'll dial in about that, and I'm sure McCarthy and I will have lovely, lovely talks and chats.
I'm sure we will. It's going to be
great.
Wonderful.
And then if you thought our debates these past few weeks have been hot, you wait until these Royal Rumble predictions next week, boys and girls. This is going to be a big one. You're not going to want to miss it. Ryan Napper is going to be Ryan Napper.
Whoa. When did they become the same person?
They fused. They fused together.
Dragon Ball Z.
But, yes, Travis Napper is going to be an innocent bystander to what is liable to be a verbal assault on both sides. This could get ugly next week. Royal Rumble predictions.
I'm getting involved in verbal.
Yes, Royal Rumble predictions. We will make them next week. It's the go-home show before the Royal Rumble. And Ryan, King of the Hill, will you be back next week virtually?
Yeah, I'll be back next week if you guys need me.
It is time that we bid you farewell and we step out of the ring. And you be sure to give us a follow at To The Buckle on Twitter. And go like our Facebook page, To The Turnbuckle. And most importantly, you be sure to tune in next Tuesday, 5 to 8, when we welcome you back into the Turnbuckle. See you, Loganites.
Go ahead, get it all out.
Don't forget to check out the Bruce Goose Podcast, the only podcast to bring you pro wrestling for your ears every week.